हर टीम ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में ये बिलीव करके आती है कि वो चैंपियन बन सकती है, लेकिन टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग जो उस वक्त अपने ओरिजिनल बैनर टीम हिंद के नाम से खेल रही थी, उनकी कहानी थोड़ी अलग थी। तेज FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग के ग्रैंड फाइनल्स के स्टेज पर कदम रखने से काफी पहले, पहला मैच शुरू होने से पहले, पहला पॉइंट मिलने से पहले उन्होंने अपना एंडिंग इमेजिन कर लिया था। उनके लिए ट्रॉफी पहले ही उनकी थी। ये ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं था, ये बिलीव था, सालों तक साथ खेलने का बिलीव, हर सेटबैक से वापस उठने का बिलीव और नॉकआउट स्टेज क्रॉस करके इंडिया की बेस्ट टीम के सामने खड़े होने का बिलीव। अब सिर्फ एक सवाल बाकी था, क्या वो बिलीव रियलिटी बन सकता था?
जो अपना FFMIC 2026 था अपना स्प्रिंग, उसमें हमने मेनली फोकस किया था अपनी 4v4 फाइट्स में। हमने जितना ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग कर सकते थे हमने उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग किया, अपने कोऑर्डिनेशन पे काम किया। तो फिर ऐसा हो गया था कि फिर एक टाइम पे हम कोई भी टीम को 4v4 इजिली मार दे रहे थे। उसी से फिर हमको कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया था कि 4v4 फाइट अपनी बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग है, बस जोन्स और बाकी सब चीज पे अपने को ध्यान देना है, बाकी फाइट्स तो हम निकाल ही लेंगे।
लेकिन चैंपियनशिप डिसाइड होने से पहले एक और हर्डल बाकी था, पॉइंट रश। 6 मैचेस, एक दिन, और वही डिसाइड करता था कि चैंपियनशिप डे पर हर टीम कितने हेड स्टार्ट पॉइंट्स के साथ शुरुआत करेगी। यहाँ ट्रॉफी नहीं मिलनी थी, सिर्फ मोमेंटम, और टीम हिंद ने इसी चीज को टारगेट बनाया। उन्होंने लॉबी डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश नहीं की, हर गेम में अननेसेसरी फाइट्स नहीं ली, जहां अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली वहां कैपिटलाइज किया। और जब मैच 5 आया, टीम हिंद ने पूरे पॉइंट रश का अपना बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दिया। एक और ग्रेनेड यहाँ पर से करा जाएगा,
बिल्कुल अकेले, नीचे 3 खिलाड़ी अकेले डैश करेंगे, एंड देयर कम्स द टीम हिंद विद द बोया बोया बोया।
19 एलिमिनेशन के साथ बूया, एक स्टेटमेंट गेम। दिन के एंड तक टीम हिंद ओवरऑल 3rd प्लेस पर फिनिश हुई। रिवॉर्ड मिला 5 हेड स्टार्ट पॉइंट्स।
ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में तो हमारा स्टार्टिंग में टारगेट यही था कि हमको 3 से 4 गेम में चैंपियन रश ऑन करना है, बट ऐसा हुआ कि हमारे गेम्स बहुत ज्यादा एवरेज चले गए कुछ रीजंस की वजह से।
चैंपियन रश डे की शुरुआत हुई और शुरुआती 4 मैचेस में एक बात क्लियर हो गई, ये टूर्नामेंट किसी एक टीम का नहीं होने वाला था। हर गेम का हीरो अलग था। मैच 1 में फायर आइज गेमिंग ने पेस सेट किया। मैच 2 में गॉडलाइक ईस्पोर्ट्स ने लॉबी कंट्रोल कर ली। उसके बाद RNX ईस्पोर्ट्स ने बैक टू बैक बुयाज लेकर पूरा लीडर बोर्ड हिला दिया। हर मैच के बाद स्टैंडिंग्स बदल रही थी, हर फाइट टाइटल रेस को एक नई डायरेक्शन दे रही थी, और टीम हिंद वो क्वाइटली रेस के अंदर बनी रही। चैंपियन रश फॉर्मेट में कभी कभी सरवाइव करते रहना लीड करने से भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, क्योंकि जब बाकी टीम्स एक गेम में टॉप करती और अगले गेम में क्रैश हो जाती, वहीं टीम हिंद कभी पिक्चर से बाहर नहीं हुई, वो बस अपने मोमेंट का वेट कर रही थी।
फिर उसके बाद हमको अपना गेम प्लान चेंज करना पड़ा।
फिर हमारा बरमुदा मैप आया जिसमें हमको ज्यादा एलिमिनेशंस की नीड थी, तो हमने उसी के हिसाब से उस गेम को खेला और
5th और 6th गेम में बहुत ज्यादा एग्रेसिव गए, तो उससे अपने को बहुत ज्यादा फायदा हुआ।
4 मैचेस बीत चुके थे, टीम हिंद अब भी अपने ब्रेक थ्रू का इंतजार कर रही थी, और दूसरी तरफ गॉडलाइक ईस्पोर्ट्स धीरे धीरे चैंपियनशिप के सबसे बड़े कंटेंडर्स बन के उभर चुकी थी। हर पासिंग गेम के साथ प्रेशर बढ़ता जा रहा था। अब एक और एवरेज मैच का ऑप्शन ही नहीं था। इसी बीच आई एक रोटेशन केप टाउन से कोटाटुआ की तरफ, और वही हुआ जिसने टीम हिंद के टूर्नामेंट की डायरेक्शन ही बदल दी। सीधा सामने थे डिफेंडिंग चैंपियंस iQOO टोटल गेमिंग। ये सिर्फ एक और स्क्वाड फाइट नहीं थी, iQOO टोटल गेमिंग के लिए ये चैंपियनशिप रेस में बने रहने का मौका था, और टीम हिंद के लिए ये वो फाइट थी जो उनके पूरे टूर्नामेंट को या तो जिंदा रख सकती थी या वहीं खत्म कर सकती थी।
सामने की तरफ से टीम हिंद इसके ऊपर अटैक करती हुई इस समय पर लीड आगे बढ़ते हुए बुलविन को डाउन करने की कोशिश है। माफिया ही इज द लास्ट मैन स्टैंडिंग, बिकॉज़ iQOO टोटल गेमिंग इज येट टू टच द 80 पॉइंट्स मार्क। क्या माफिया अपने खिलाड़ियों को गेम के अंदर इस मुकाबले में वापस ला पाएंगे? जी नहीं, 10वें पायदान पे iQOO टोटल गेमिंग का खात्मा होता हुआ।
और उस मोमेंट के बाद पूरा मैप टीम हिंद के लिए खुल गया, और धीरे धीरे लॉबी सिर्फ 3 स्क्वाड्स तक सीमित हो गई। अब टीम हिंद सिर्फ रेस में नहीं थी, अब पूरी लॉबी को पता चल चुका था ये टीम चैंपियनशिप जीत भी सकती है।
हमको तो शुरू से ऐसे गेम की नीड थी चैंपियन बनने के लिए, क्योंकि एवरेज सा ही गेम हमारा जा रहा था शुरू से, या फिर आप फर्स्ट देख लो, सेकंड देख लो, थर्ड देख लो, पूरी टीम मतलब बूस्टअप हो जाए और चैंपियन की तरफ आगे बढ़े।
गुजरात, कैन यू फील द फायर?
मैच 5 ने टीम हिंद के चैंपियनशिप ड्रीम को दोबारा जिंदा कर दिया, लेकिन अगले 2 गेम्स उस ड्रीम को फिर से तोड़ने पर आ गए। मैच 6 8th प्लेस फिनिश।
बट वो सोलारा वाला मैच में हमने थोड़ी सी गलती की, कोऑर्डिनेशन में इशू आया, वो फाइट अपन हार गए।
हाँ, एक चीज जरूर हुई, टीम हिंद ने चैंपियन रश एक्टिवेट कर लिया।
तो चैंपियन रश ऑन होने के बाद हमारी स्ट्रेटजी में हमने चेंज लाया था, क्योंकि उससे पहले हमने बहुत सारे टूर्नामेंट्स में भी प्रैक्टिस की थी जब चैंपियन रश ऑन होने के बाद बुया करने की, तो फिर हम उसी स्ट्रेटजी के साथ आगे गए थे।
चैंपियन रश सिर्फ आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव चेंज नहीं करता, पूरी लॉबी का गेम प्लान बदल देता है। अब हर टीम को पता था टीम हिंद को बस एक और बुया चाहिए, सिर्फ एक, और चैंपियनशिप खत्म। प्रेशर सिर्फ टीम हिंद पर नहीं था, प्रेशर उन हर टीम पर था जो उन्हें उस एक बुया से रोकना चाहती थी।
फिर अपने को नेक्स्ट गेम में चांस मिला एंड हम सेम स्ट्रेटजी के साथ गए।
मैच 7 में गॉड लाइक के अगेंस्ट एक रिस्की पुश, और इस बार सब कुछ उल्टा पड़ गया।
हिंद को होल्ड बैक नहीं करना चाह रहे, स्क्वाड को स्पॉट आउट करा, स्पॉट करते ही अंदर घुसे टीम गॉड लाइक, दे आर इन ट्रबल। यहाँ पर से मार्को को भी गिरा दिया जाएगा, केडी गॉर्डन बुलविन को भी नॉकआउट होते हुए नजर आने वाले। साहिल जाट एक लौटे खिलाड़ी, उनको भी करा बाहर।
टीम हिंद लॉबी की पहली एलिमिनेटेड स्क्वाड बन गई। जो मोमेंटम मैच 5 में बना था वो एक ही गेम में रुक सा गया।
तो मतलब हम 7th मैच में जब एलिमिनेट हुए तो मतलब सब वैसे ही साइड हो गए, फिर डिमोटिवेट टाइप के होने लगे। फिर जैसे ही हमने देखा कि 7th मैच में आरएनटी ने बुया करा, तो फिर मतलब सब एकदम ऐसे खुश हो गए और फिर एक दूसरे में मतलब वो चेयर अप करने लगे कि मतलब अब तो करना ही है, अब तो चैंपियन बनना ही है।
अब हर मिस हुई बुया सिर्फ पॉइंट्स का नुकसान नहीं थी, वो बाकी टीम्स को एक और चीज दे रही थी, होप। मैच 7 के बाद इक्वेशन बिल्कुल बदल चुकी थी। चैंपियन रश एक्टिवेट करने वाली 7 टीम्स में वो सबसे पीछे थे, लीडर बोर्ड के लीडर से 24 पॉइंट्स पीछे। पहली बार चैंपियनशिप इतनी दूर लग रही थी। फाइनल गेम शुरू हुई।
उस मैच में हमारे साथ अनएक्सपेक्टेड चीजें भी हुई थी कि हमने एक स्प्लिट लिया था कमांड और स्टोन रिच पर, और हमारे पे पूरी टीम आ गई थी एक स्प्लिट पर। तो साहिल उधर स्टोन रिच पे मर गया और हमारा छोटा और मैं कमांड पे थे। तो वो फाइट इतनी जरूरी थी निकालनी, क्योंकि अगर वो फाइट हार जाते तो हमारी पूरी टीम एलिमिनेट हो जाती।
पड़ेगा डिलीट एंड चेक नॉक हो चुके हैं। इस दौरान 2 खिलाड़ी सर्वाइव करेंगे और माफिया यहाँ से लॉन्च पैड से निकल जाएंगे। कैश टेक में सफलता मिलेगी, माफिया पे शॉट्स लिए गए और काफी जगह चोट लेकर रखा है।
अब सिर्फ एक ऑब्जेक्टिव था, फाइनल सर्कल तक पहुंचना। 4 टीम्स, चारों चैंपियन रश पर, एक ट्रॉफी, एक फाइनल सर्कल। जो ये गेम जीतेगा वही चैंपियन बनेगा। जोन और कोलैप्स हुई, अब कवर खत्म हो रहा था, और इसी मोमेंट पर टीम हिंद ने सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन लिया। बाकी टीम्स हेजिटेट कर रही थी, टीम हिंद पहले मूव कर गई। रिस्क था, लेकिन उस रिस्क ने उन्हें सबसे वैल्यूएबल चीज दी, पोजीशन। अब बाकी टीम्स स्पेस के लिए लड़ रही थी और टीम हिंद के पास ऑलरेडी वो स्पेस थी। जोन के दूसरे साइड फायरस गेमिंग और iQOO टोटल गेमिंग एक डेस्परेट फाइट में उलझ चुके थे। दोनों जानती थी ये फाइट हारते ही टूर्नामेंट खत्म। दूसरी तरफ RNX ने टीम हिंद पर प्रेशर बनाने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बेटर पोजीशनिंग का एडवांटेज टीम हिंद के पास था। पुश डाउन किया और RNX एलिमिनेट, और अब सिर्फ 2 टीम्स बच गई थी, फायरस गेमिंग और टीम हिंद।
थोड़ा सा डैमेज होते हुए नजर आएंगे, बढ़ेंगे आगे की ओर। स्काइलर का प्रयोग, ट्रोल को यहाँ पर से डैमेज अकेला गिरा, शॉटो करेंगे ट्रोल के ऊपर अटैक है, ट्रोल को करा जाएगा नॉकआउट। प्रिंस एक लौटे खिलाड़ी, उनको भी करा बाहर। नेज फ्री फायर मैक्स इंडिया कप 2026 स्प्रिंग के विनर्स हमारे सामने, दे आर नन अदर देन टीम हिंद।
चैंपियनशिप्स सिर्फ फाइनल बुया से याद नहीं रखी जाती, ना सिर्फ ट्रॉफी लिफ्ट से, ना सेलिब्रेशन से, और ना ही कॉन्फेटी से। उनकी फाउंडेशन उससे बहुत पहले पड़ती है। मेटा को समझने में, स्क्रिम्स के एंडलेस आवर्स में, हर हार के बाद हुई अनकंफर्टेबल डिस्कशंस में, और उस बिलीफ में जो कभी टूटने नहीं दिया गया। टीम हिंद ने TEZ FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग इसीलिए नहीं जीता क्योंकि वो परफेक्ट थी, उन्होंने इसलिए जीता क्योंकि जब जब टूर्नामेंट ने उन्हें टेस्ट किया, हर बार उनके पास एक जवाब था। और अब एक नया चैप्टर शुरू हो रहा है, इस बार टीम हिंद के नाम से नहीं, टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग के नाम से। अब बाकी टीम्स ट्रॉफी के पीछे नहीं भागेंगे, वो भागेंगे डिफेंडिंग चैंपियंस के पीछे, क्योंकि फॉल सीजन में हर टीम का टारगेट एक होगा, टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग।
इस टाइटल को हमारे को डिफेंड करना एक बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, क्योंकि हमारी अब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है। जैसे कि हम और भी जानकारी और फैंस भी हमारे बहुत सारे नए जुड़े हैं हमारे साथ, तो हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि उनको निराश ना करना। एंड इस बार कंपटीशन भी बहुत ज़्यादा रहने वाला है, क्योंकि जो लास्ट टाइम टीम्स थी वो भी हैं और काफ़ी सारी नई टीम्स भी आई हैं, तो डेफिनेटली कंपटीशन बढ़ा है एंड उसलिए हमको भी उसके लिए और ज़्यादा मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी।
हमको इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर चाहिए था, तो हमने वो अचीव करा है। AWC 2026 के स्लॉट को अर्न करा है और मतलब अपने आप को मतलब प्रूफ करेंगे AWC में, ताकि अपने फैंस को निराश ना करें।
हर चैंपियनशिप में एक ऐसा प्लेयर होता है जो सिर्फ स्कोर बोर्ड पर नहीं, पूरे टूर्नामेंट की कहानी पर अपना नाम लिख देता है। TEZ FFMIC 2026 स्प्रिंग के लिए वो प्लेयर था हिंद बुलविन। 22 एलिमिनेशन, 8300 प्लस डैमेज और ग्रैंड फाइनल्स का मोस्ट वैल्यूएबल प्लेयर।
जब मुझे MVP का टाइटल मिला तो मैं बहुत खुश था, क्योंकि मैंने इसी के लिए बहुत प्रैक्टिस करी थी। मेरे घर वाले भी बहुत खुश थे क्योंकि वो देख रहे थे और उन्होंने देखा कि मुझे MVP मिला और चैंपियन हम बने। आपकी नज़रों में मैं MVP हूँ, बट मेरी नज़रों में मेरी पूरी टीम है, मतलब टीम वर्क ही मेरे लिए सबसे ज़्यादा है।
एक सफर यही खत्म होता है और एक नया सफर शुरू। अब बारी है टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग के बैनर के नीचे अपने टाइटल को डिफेंड करने की। TEZ FFMIC 2026 फॉल के दौरान हम लेकर आएंगे और भी बिहाइंड द सीन्स स्टोरीज, एक्सक्लूसिव प्लेयर इंटरव्यूज और टूर्नामेंट की हर बड़ी कहानी सबसे करीब से।
एंड होप सो इस बार भी हम वो टाइटल को जीतें।
ये मेरा गिटार कलेक्शन है। ये लोग मुझे हमेशा पूछते रहते ये तूने कलेक्ट कैसे किया, पर ये मेरी ज़िंदगी के सबसे बेशकीमती चीज़ नहीं है। मेरी ज़िंदगी की सबसे कीमती चीज़ है एक हार, जो मुझे मिली थी 25 अप्रैल को रात को 8 बजे। मैं अपने बेटे से हार गया। तब मुझे समझ में आया कि हार के जीतने वाले को बाजीगर क्यों कहते हैं। मेरा नाम शैलेश पांडुरंग शिंदे है एंड आई एम फादर ऑफ इंडियाज बेस्ट रशर शोटो। So my grandfather was an extremely poor man. He was a truck driver. मेरे जो पिताजी है वही सबसे तेज़ दिमाग के थे हमारे घर में, जिन्होंने इंजीनियरिंग कंप्लीट की। और वो इंजीनियर बनने के बाद हमारा जो पॉवर्टी का फेज़ था, वो फेज़ में से हम लोग उन्नति की तरफ बढ़ने लगे। हमारा यही मानना है कि पढ़ाई करो, उसमें से ही आपकी उन्नति हो सकती है।
जब मैं शादी करके फर्स्ट टाइम यहाँ पे आई तो सब इंजीनियर, पूरा फैमिली, ससुर जी, देवर लोग, हस्बैंड भी मेरे इंजीनियर हैं और सबका एक्सपेक्टेशन था कि बच्चे भी इंजीनियर बने।
सच पूछो तो मुझे इंजीनियरिंग में दिलचस्पी बिल्कुल नहीं थी। मुझे बचपन से ही म्यूज़िक बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है, लेकिन हमारे पिताजी ने कभी उसे सपोर्ट किया नहीं। तो जब मैं कॉलेज गया तो मैंने गिटार मांगा तो उन्होंने कभी दिया नहीं। वो मुझे तभी बर्थडे के लिए उन्होंने 1000 रुपये दिए थे कपड़े लेने के लिए। तो मैं तुरंत गया बॉम्बे में भार्गव स्टोर में से मैंने 800 रुपये का अकोस्टिक गिटार लाया था। तो उसके ऊपर से भी घर में काफ़ी प्रॉब्लम हो गई थी मुझे। तो वहाँ से मेरा म्यूज़िक बजाने का सफ़र डिप्लोमा के सेकंड ईयर में स्टार्ट हो गया था। डिग्री के फाइनल ईयर में ये जो पूना के जो कॉलेज के तभी इंटरनल सर्किट के फेस्टिवल्स हुआ करते थे, तो उन सारे सर्किट्स में मैंने प्ले कर चुका हूँ। 17 से 18 स्टेज शोज मैंने किए हुए। लेकिन ये पिताजी का सोच था कि ये जो कला क्षेत्र है, म्यूजिशियंस, आर्टिस्ट, ये सब फिजूल की बातें, इसमें कोई पैसा नहीं कमा सकता है, अपना पेट नहीं भर सकता है। तो उन्होंने मुझे भी कभी अलाउ नहीं किया। पर्सनली मैं काफ़ी क्रिकेट खेल चुका हूँ, कॉलेज के ड्यूरेशन में भी, उसके बाद भी, शादी होने के बाद भी मैं 10 साल तक क्रिकेट खेलते रहा हूँ ग्राउंड के ऊपर। मानव और जो सौरव है और ये प्रथमेश, ये तीनों को भी क्रिकेट बहुत पसंद था। पार्किंग में काफ़ी जगह है, वहाँ पे भी हम लोग गली क्रिकेट खेलते थे और ग्राउंड पे भी जाके खेल चुके।
मेरा बचपन में ड्रीम था कि मैं क्रिकेटर बनूं। मैंने वो बात अंदर ही रख ली थी, अगर क्रिकेटर बनना है तो अर्ली एज से स्टार्ट करना पड़ता है। तो फिर जब मैं बोलने वाला था तब लेट हो रखा था, लाइक मैं तब 6-7 स्टैंडर्ड में आ रखा था।
मैंने उसका गेम देखा था, अच्छा खेलता था और टाइमिंग भी अच्छा है, लेकिन वो बात नहीं करता है, तो उसने कभी मुझे बताया नहीं, वरना मैं थोड़ा सपोर्ट करता था उस बारे में।
मेरा इंस्पिरेशन तो मेरा बड़ा ही प्रथमेश ही है, उसके ऐसे ही मतलब मैंने गेमिंग वगैरह स्टार्ट किया। जिसका भी यूट्यूब चैनल था वो भी स्ट्रीम वगैरह करता था, गेम वगैरह खेलता था।
फिर लॉकडाउन आ गया 8th स्टैंडर्ड में, सब ऑनलाइन पढ़ाई चालू हो गया, तो मेरे पास से आईपैड पे या मेरा मोबाइल, ऐसे दोनों ट्विंस मिलके खेलते थे।
टाइम मेरा भाई स्कूल के फ्रेंड्स के साथ खेलता था आईपैड में, मैं उसका गेम देखता था, फिर उसने मेरे को बताया कि ऐसा गेम है, तो मैं उसके साथ खेलना स्टार्ट किया।
तो फिर मैंने एक टाइम के बाद ब्रेक ले लिया था और उसने छोड़ा नहीं, वो खेलता रहा कंटिन्यू। तो फिर उसके गेम में नए फ्रेंड्स बने और फिर उसकी स्पोर्ट्स की जर्नी शायद उधर से ही स्टार्ट हो गई थी।
अगर मतलब पापा को पता चलता, वो तो पूरा अगेंस्ट थे गेमिंग के, वो तो मेरे को अलाउ नहीं करते थे गेम खेलने के लिए, उन्हें वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम लगता था गेम खेलना।
मेरे लिए स्पोर्ट वो है जहाँ पे आपका पसीना बहे, आपको चोटें आए, आपकी सांस फूले, धूप में खेलो, दिन भर खेलो। घर में बैठ के मानव या उसके जो दोस्त अभी कर रहे हैं, वो हमारे दृष्टिकोण में वो स्पोर्ट था ही नहीं।
मैंने पहले बचपन में बताया नहीं था घर वालों की मतलब मेरे को क्रिकेटर बनना है, बट मेरे को फ्री फायर मैक्स के टाइम ये सब नहीं करना था।
10th में उसका डिस्टिंक्शन आया था, तो हम लोगों ने इतना उसको अपोज नहीं किया कि तू खेल रहा है भाई, तू पढ़ाई भी कर रहा है, तो मैनेज कर रहा है।
डेली ग्राइंड करते करते मेरे स्किल्स इंप्रूव होते गए, जितने भी छोटे मोटे टूर्नामेंट थे हम सब जीतते रह गए। तो ऑलमोस्ट जितने भी बड़ी टीम्स थे उन्होंने सबने मेरे को नोटिस किया और फिर मेरे को सारी टीम के ऑफर आ गए।
तो इसको आई थिंक जैन या फेब में इसके पास अचानक से को फ़ोन आया 80,000 रुपीज़ का। तो मतलब ये 101% कोई ना कोई स्कैम है ये, और ज़रूर जिसने तुझे ये फ़ोन दिया है वो इससे डबल ट्रिपल तेरे से वसूलेगा।
तो मैंने उनको बताया कि मैंने टोटल गेमिंग स्पोर्ट्स मतलब ऑफिशियली ज्वाइन करी एज अ प्लेइंग फॉर, तो उन्होंने भेजा था मेरे को फ़ोन।
तो मतलब ये प्रोफेशनल क्या होता है? ये काम कोई करता है, इंजीनियर उसे प्रोफेशन बोलते हैं, या डॉक्टर वो पेशा होता है?
हम लोग टूर्नामेंट जीते जा रहे थे और मैं उनका प्लेइंग फॉर का मेंबर था। फिर अचानक से एक दिन उनका जो पहले मतलब वो चैंपियन लाइनअप जो उनका टूटा था वो वापस रियूनाइट हो गया और फिर मैं 5th हो गया था, इसलिए मैंने फिर छोड़ दिया।
एक बड़ी टीम है जो इंडिया की सबसे बड़ी, वहाँ से ये रिजाइन कर गया है और उसके लिए इन्होंने फ़ोन वापस उसका ले लिया है। मैं काम से घर आया, ये थोड़ा ग्लूमी फेस लेके बैठा था और मुझे वो बोलने लगा कि मुझे 80,000 का फ़ोन चाहिए और 1-2 दिन में ही चाहिए। तो मैं बोला 2 दिन में तुझे फ़ोन देने के लिए तूने कोई बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम टॉप किया है क्या? कोई तूने बड़ा तीर मारा है, इसको मैं तुझे गिफ्ट में 80,000 का फ़ोन दे दूँ? तो मैंने उसे रिफ्यूज कर दिया।
तो मेरे पीछे लग गया, मम्मा दे ना ग, तू असं काय करते, मी तुला तुझे पैसे परत करतो। मैं इतना तक उसने बोला। फिर मैं बोली मैं कहाँ से दूँ, मी तो नहीं तुला देऊ शकत।
तो यहाँ पे हमारे पहचान के जो उनका शॉप है मोबाइल का, तो वहाँ से फ़ोन आया, आपका लड़का आया है, वो बजाज का फाइनेंस उसको मिला है, वो फ़ोन ले रहा है 70,000 रुपीज़ का। शॉप में आया तो ये वहाँ पे खड़ा था, बोला कि मुझे फ़ोन चाहिए, मैं तो फ़ोन लूँगा ही लूँगा, मैं तुझे 2 हफ्ते में तेरे पैसे लौटा दूंगा। और वो टोटली आउट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन एंड डिजेक्शन मैंने बोला कि ठीक है मैं पैसे दे देता हूँ। मैं तभी सोचा कि ये मेरे हाथ के बाहर निकल गया लड़का, पूरा ही वेस्ट हो गया है ये, मुझे नहीं लगता कुछ ये करियर करेगा या इंजीनियरिंग भी कंप्लीट करेगा कि नहीं, मुझे डाउट आ गया था उस समय। तो मैं यहाँ तक सोच रहा था कि मेरे दोस्तों से कंसल्ट करके कोई साइको एनालिस्ट या साइकेट्री थोड़ा इसको ट्रीट करूँ कि इसका थोड़ा ये ऑब्सेशन जो है ये कम हो जाए।
मुझे मन में ये था कि मैंने उसको आधा घंटा 1 घंटा जो फ़ोन दिया, तो मेरे कारण वो इतना इन्वॉल्व हो गया गेमिंग में, वो मेरे मन में एक थोड़ा गिल्ट है।
जब पापा ने मेरे को मतलब नया फ़ोन दिलाया, उसके बाद मेरी और उनकी तो बहुत टाइम तक बात नहीं हुई थी और मैंने उनको थैंक यू वगैरह कुछ बोला नहीं था, बट मैं उस टाइम बोलता भी क्या, मेरे को बस मतलब प्रूव करके दिखाना था उनको। फिर उसके बाद मैंने टीम इन ज्वाइन करी, फिर टीम इन के साथ मैंने जो तेज FFMIC जो टूर्नामेंट था इंडिया का, हमने उसके लैंड फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाई करा था और वो लैंड फाइनल्स अहमदाबाद में था। तो मैंने जब पापा को बताया मेरे को अहमदाबाद लैंड के लिए जाना है तो उन्होंने साफ मना कर दिया था।
मेरा तो पहला रिएक्शन ये था कि तेरे एग्जाम्स कब है, तो ये बताए ये हफ्ता भर चलेगा और वो एग्जाम के बीच में आ रहा है। मेरा तो इसके लिए पूरा रिफ्यूजल था।
मेरा और मेरे पापा का एक बहुत लॉन्ग डिस्कशन हुआ था एंड उसके बाद मतलब उस डिस्कशन का कुछ कंक्लूजन ही नहीं आ रहा था। तो मैंने बोल दिया कि अगर इस बार टॉप 3 नहीं हुआ मेरा तो मैं गेमिंग पूरा ही छोड़ दूंगा, मतलब स्पोर्ट्स कंप्यूटर सब छोड़ दूंगा, क्योंकि मैंने पहले भी क्रिकेट छोड़ा ही है और इस बार इजीली गिव अप नहीं करना था।
तो उस वक्त पे मेरा जो बड़ा लड़का है, मैंने उससे व्हाट्सएप कॉल पे बात की थी, जो बर्लिन में मास्टर्स कर रहा है। तू कुछ तो समझा उसे कि ये क्या पागलपन कर रहा है ये।
मैं खुद भी गेमर था और मैं स्पोर्ट्स फॉलो करता हूँ, तो जितना मुझे समझता है आई थिंक डेफिनेटली शुड पार्टिसिपेट एंड ये अपॉर्चुनिटी बार बार ऐसी नहीं आती है, तो उसको अगर वो जाएगा तो उसको भी थोड़ा अच्छा ही लगेगा कि मैं एटलीस्ट गया था उधर, जो भी होगा आगे देखा जाएगा।
तो मुझे प्रथमेश ने कहा देख तूने मुझे रोका था, तो अभी मानव जो स्टेज में खेल रहा है और मानव का जो गेम प्ले इट्स परफेक्ट, कि उसके जो करना है उसे वो करने दे, उसे रोक मत तू।
मैंने उसको बोला वो जो बोर्ड्स का एग्जाम रहता है डिप्लोमा का, तो वो छोड़ के तू कैसे जाएगा। तो फिर वो बोला कि नहीं, मैं एक प्रॉमिस करता हूँ कि मैं एग्जाम के लिए आ जाऊंगा अहमदाबाद से।
फिर मैंने मनोमन इसको आशीर्वाद दिया था कि चलो गया बेटा तो ठीक से सक्सेसफुल होके आना चाहिए, लेकिन मैंने इससे कहा कुछ नहीं था। तो इस तरह से ये अहमदाबाद को चला गया था।
मेरा तो पहला ही लैंड इवेंट था, मैं स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा नर्वस था। उस टाइम पे लाइक हमारी टीम तो अच्छी परफॉर्म कर रही थी, हम लोग सारे इवेंट जीत रहे थे और पूरी टीम को कॉन्फिडेंस था कि इस बार अच्छा करेंगे। तो हमने 21 अप्रैल को होटल के नोटपैड पे लिख दिया था कि विल बी द चैंपियंस ऑफ FFMIC स्प्रिंग।
25 अप्रैल वो दिन मैं तो कभी भूल नहीं सकता। वो मेरा यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा फार्म हाउस है जहाँ पे मैंने लगभग 70-80 पेड़ पौधे लगाए हुए, तो उसे पानी देने के लिए मुझे जाना पड़ता है। 6:30 बजे के करीब ये सौरव का फ़ोन आना शुरू हो गया है। वो बोल रहा था कि मानव अच्छा खेल रहा है, आके देखना चाहिए तू भी। बहुत थ्रिलिंग मैच ज़बरदस्त चालू है। वो लोग दोपहर से चिल्ला पुकार कर रहे थे। सौरव का तो थोड़ा आवाज़ भी बंद होने आया था, तो लेकिन मैंने मेरा पूरा पानी वगैरह मारते रहा और आखिर का 10 मिनट पानी मारना बाकी था। तभी ये का फ़ोन आया सौरव का कि अरे ये लोग है ना शायद क्रैश आउट हो रहे चैंपियनशिप से। तो मतलब देख तुझे बोला था ना मैंने, कोई ये लक फैक्टर है इसमें, ऐसे होते नहीं है कि हमेशा वो जीतते जाएंगे। और फिर फ़ोन रखा और बोला कि अरे नहीं ये लोग जीत सकते हैं, ये लोग चैंपियन रश में शामिल हो गए, फाइनल इसमें रेस में घुस गए, ये सडनली 7वें रैंक से ऊपर आ गए। तो मैंने फ़ोन रख दिया और फ़ोन रखते ही 10 मिनट में फ़ोन आ गया कि मानव जीत गया है।
Boys and girls, TEZ Free Fire Match India Cup 2026 Spring Game winner Team EZ।
तो जीत गया, अच्छी बात है। क्या हुआ है, ट्रॉफी मिली हो, लेकिन नहीं 35 लाख का प्राइस फुल था। देखिए मुझे गेम ये FFMIC e-sport ये कुछ समझता है, लेकिन पैसा तो समझता है मुझे, मैं बिजनेसमैन हूँ। तो मुझे टिल दैट पॉइंट I was his biggest opponent. After that 10 o'clock, I was his biggest fan.
लैन इवेंट तो ही इतना इम्पोर्टेंट मेरे लिए, बट उस लैन इवेंट के बीच में मेरा एग्जाम था और एग्जाम भी मेरे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि एजुकेशन तो इम्पोर्टेंट थी और मैंने मम्मी को प्रॉमिस भी कर रखा था कि मैं एग्जाम देने आऊँगा।
साइड बाय उसने डिप्लोमा भी जो कंप्लीट किया विद 72% से भी आ गया। वो गेमिंग एंड एजुकेशन बोथ वो मैनेज कर रहा है। इंडिया का जो चैंपियन अभी बने तो वो डायरेक्टली EWC के लिए क्वालिफाई होते हैं, वो भी पेरिस में हो रहा है। तो हम लोग फिर एकदम खुशी हो गए, इतना बड़ा अपॉर्चुनिटी है, हर प्लेयर को मिलता नहीं है, लेकिन इसने करके दिखाया। तो मेरा बड़ा लड़का बोला कि नहीं, तुमको सबको आना है और हम पूरा फैमिली उसको सपोर्ट करेंगे।
पहले जो मैंने उसके ऊपर जो अन्याय किया था उसकी भरपाई करनी थी, तो बोला कि मानव को पूरा सपोर्ट करूँगा और मैं चाहता हूँ कि अभी तू इंडिया के लिए ये वहाँ पे जीते।
पेरिस में पहले तो एक तो हम लोग एकदम इतना खुश थे कि इतना बड़ी जगह हम लोग ट्रैवल करके गए और वो भी बेटे को सपोर्ट करने। जो इंटरनेशनल लॉबी में इंडियन प्लेयर फर्स्ट टाइम विदाउट एनी कोच विदाउट एनालिस्ट परफॉर्म करना, वो भी बहुत बड़ी बात है और उसने करके दिखाया। छोटो ने जबरदस्त खेला, चिल्ला चिल्ला के हमारे गले बैठ गए।
मेरे पापा तो उनको कभी सपोर्ट नहीं करते थे, वो पूरा अगेंस्ट में थे और अब वही मेरे मैचेस देखने आ रहे, मेरे को सपोर्ट करने आ रहे, तो मैं तो फिर खुश हो गया था। एंड फिर मेरे को वो स्टैंड से इतना चीयर कर रहे थे, मतलब अच्छा मोमेंट था मेरे लिए भी। तो उस टाइम लगा कि दे वर प्राउड ऑफ मी।
हम लोगों को तो वहाँ पे फोन वीडियो कॉल्स कि आपका लड़का इतना अच्छा खेल रहा है। यहाँ पे घर में भी दादा दादी को फोन कि अरे आप टीवी पे दिख रहे हो, छोटो क्या बुया मार रहा है। वो हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा ये था।
मेरे पापा तो स्पोर्ट्स फैन है, उन्हें स्ट्रैटेजी एंड एडवाइस देना तो मतलब स्टार्टिंग से ही है उनकी आदत। तो पहले मेरे को क्रिकेट की एडवाइस देते थे, फिर करियर की, उसके बाद मेरे को गेम की एडवाइस देने लग गए।
तो भाई लुइस को काफ़ी प्रेशराइज करता था कि लुइस तू जा यार स्टेज पे, इन्हें कुछ तो पुश कर, थोड़ा सा इनको फायरिंग कर। तो लुइस मुझे बोलता था अंकल इससे ज़्यादा नहीं कर सकते, इससे ज़्यादा प्रेशराइज उन्हें करेगा तो मज़ा नहीं आएगा।
साहिल को बोलते थे तो अच्छे से नीडिंग कर, केडी को बोलते थे तो सेफ रहे, फिर मेरे को बोलते थे ज़्यादा एग्रेसिव मत हो, आराम से खेल। अच्छा लग रहा था कि वो भी लॉक्ड इन हो रखे इवेंट के लिए और बड़े मज़ेदार है पापा।
हैरिस के बाद तो मेरा उल्टा उसे ये कहना था कि भाई तू अगर इतना अच्छा स्पोर्ट्समैन है तो तू अगले 5-6 साल ये स्पोर्ट को ही क्यों नहीं डिवोट करता। तू ये गेम में इतना ऊंचाई पे जाके इट बिकम्स अ बेंचमार्क। शायद मैं अपने फादर को कभी ये प्रूव नहीं कर पाता तो शायद वो भी मेरे सबसे बड़े चीयर लीडर होते, पर मेरे बेटे ने वो कर दिखाया जो मैं नहीं कर पाया। उसने मेरा सपना पूरा किया है, इसलिए मैं आज उसे बोलता हूँ फाइट फॉर व्हाट यू लव, क्योंकि कभी कभी बाप का हार जाना ही पूरे खानदान की सबसे बड़ी जीत होती है।
Easy.
12 teams who have already made it by the end of yesterday, and now we await the next best 6 who will go to the knockout stage. Welcome back to the week 2 of group stage of TEZ FFMIC India Cup 2026 fall. My name is Lucifer. With me on the desk is Auzora, and now we kick off the last final week for the final set of 6. Auzora, this is going to be very interesting and also very hectic for the last 12.
Indeed, man. It's going to be super hectic. Plus, here's another thing, right? It's so grueling that it's final 6. We did see the outcome yesterday as well. And, well, like it or not, few people did not actually appreciate what happened there. But eventually, it's about the performances that usually teams just put out in the earlier phase itself. And that just gives them a very nice bump. That's the same thing which needs to be followed today as well. So, bump up your performance in the starting few games itself and fly high.
Let's hope they do it just like how we have contrasted on our colors, the yin to the yang. And let's hope teams have an opportunity that they make sure that they push somebody off who are not working in their favor. But again, when we talk about it is 12 teams and they know half is going to be on the chopping block, they better understand it from the very beginning, from the game number 1. If they mess up, their opportunity, their chances, the efforts that they put in, all will come down in vain. But we spoke about how this tournament is now going to conclude on the week 2 group stage. Let's talk about the timeline itself. Play-ins, our FFC mode, city qualifiers, all of this happened previously. And right after this group stage, teams are heading to the knockout stage, which is going to be running for 3 weeks. And then the grand finals.
Yeah, 3 grueling weeks and grand finals, just to be even more precise. Which 12 teams are heading towards the very end? Well, the time is going to decide that. But this is week number 2 that we have already seen, 14th and 15th August. Yes, the results are out. And now finally towards 16th August, let's see what's going to happen next. I am super excited for today. I'm super excited to see what the teams can do. Plus, the way they've been performing, the way week number 1 has been throughout, I have just enjoyed the journey for them. Plus, they themselves have created such a significant difference as well. We had 4 groups in week number 1, and prior to that, we had even more groups than that. Now, dwindling down all the way, funneling those teams and the players, we can head all the way towards week number 2. And from there on, Group C, this is the final battle.
Final battle, Group C, the last set of teams that we are going to be seeing in the group stage, because right after this, everybody is going to be heading to none other than the knockout stage. But from the top 9 that qualified in week 1, it is going to be the top 6 only qualifying. If you're new, this is information for you. But for everybody else, you've been used to it. And what are they hunting for? It is the prize money that they'll have a chance as soon as they walk into the knockout stage, the massive 1 crore INR.
That's right, and the 1 crore, for that you have to at least reach towards the 18th place in order to at least have the chunk of it. And the others, well, if you're going to be crowned the champions, 35 lakh on your name, plus the MVP of that very team is going to receive 1,50,000. So there's a lot of money up for grab. All you have to do is give your A performance.
Let's see who will be able to give their best, Azora, because it all comes down to this final Sunday for the 12 teams who are going to be playing in the group stage. And the point system, it might be beneficial or it could hurt them if they are not the ones grabbing the points at the end of the day. Yes, Booyah gets you 12 placement points. It is the same for everything else that we have seen from the very start. No much of a change. But the biggest change whenever we end up seeing is the elimination point. Some teams rake up so much that the teams who would want to qualify at the top 6 will miss and mess up their opportunity. So far, no tiebreaker rules, but if we go down to it, it'll start first in basis of number of Booyah, then total eliminations, and if both of them are same, it is going to be ranking in the final game.
And all of that makes a lot of difference with just one thing, that is going to be the unique active skill. All you can do is take one Raiden, or you can take one Ray, or take one Skylar, the entertainment CEO, and that cannot be replicated by your teammates. The active skill remains unique. The passive, in any which case, you can replicate, you can use the same combination, use it, and then give your team the kind of benefit that they require. Right now, we can see the combination is working so well of Skylar being utilized by a Grenadier and Morse being utilized by a sniper for the repositioning and alongside getting the flank angles on the opponent. So that's the kind of combination we are enjoying to look at. And well, the others, they are for sure ready for this one battle. This is going to be Group C, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see all the team names right in front of us, all 12 battling it out for the final 6 spots.
iQOO, Team Elite, VASIYO Esports, ZUIPTS, NAAZ Esports, RNX, the W Squad, Assassin's Army, Rakers Esports, FX Elite, NEBULA Esports, and NKG the last. Can they be the ones who also get the top 6 last entry? A lot of questions to be answered, but we will also talk about questions, Azora. One is about the heartbreaks, which so far has not happened, except for a little of those fans of PVS Gaming. Unfortunate, their run comes down to the end in our day 1 of the group stage, week 2. But right as now, the lineup in front of us, and the biggest name here, I'm pretty sure, has to be OGxTSG, and they should be the ones running away with it.
Exactly, man. And this is not only it, man. NAAZ Esports, they have inspired all of those underdog teams by the performance they've already showcased, qualifying all the way from Jaipur, and now they're just representing the city and representing the game so well. At ZUIPTS, they themselves have been performing so well. VASIYO Esports, well, these lads did not have a full stop at all, dominating the entire lobby, getting those elimination points in their pocket, in their kitty pocket, and that's just giving them a lot of room and space to make some errors, but then at the same time rectify them as well. iQOO, OGxTSG, and Team Elite, these are the fan favorites, and I believe today a lot of them are going to vouch for them.
Yeah, indeed, it's going to be a big day for Team Elite. Every time that we end up seeing Pahari, he wants to make it to the LAN but misses out just by an inch. But still, the LAN is a little too far away, but there are more obstacles. That's going to be the W Squad, Assassin's Army, Rakers Esports, NKG Esports, FX Elite, and the eye in this page is going to be on NEBULA Esports. These are the capable ones, and also any time that we see these lads, they are the troublemakers of the lobby. They fire at anybody who's in front of them, and it never looks like they are under question, can they qualify or not, because they somehow always make sure they make a problem for somebody else and they manage to make it through at the end of the day.
Indeed, man. Those problems are for some other team to handle. Those problems are not theirs at all. So that's just going to be a very nice situation being created by them for others. But now talking about the shot callers, well, it is going to be Pahari versus Ronit. Both of them have been so good with their command overall in the team, and now is the final battle. Who's gonna make it? Is it going to be both of them? And if it is both of them, then trust me, it's gonna get even more spicier when we head towards the knockout stage.
It is going to get even more tastier for all of us to witness. But to be honest, both of them have had a lot of command changes, right? In terms of moving from one lineup to another. And every time they've had troubles. However, Ronit has a lot more success compared to Pahari, and they've also been comrades and now turning into rivals, trying to command their own ships and to see who could make it happen. When we talk about Group A, right, we spoke about this seems to be a very big group of big names, but when you come to the shot callers, these are some big names that everybody will be looking forward to. Especially, I think there's a lot at stake, only mainly for Pahadi. If this season works out, he'll be super happy, because anytime he tried, he just missed that LAN opportunity. Qualification was always a problem. But when we talk about qualifying, you can see to the spring finals to fall now, we see 5 of the names who made it to the LAN, and those 5 teams are now playing in Group C. So it's a wake-up call for the others. If these guys make it, then you just have only one chance for somebody else to add on to that top 6.
Exactly, and that spot looks pretty tight. RNX, we have seen them, they have been performing super good. Aggression, as always, they've been showcasing that. Plus, it's just giving them a lot of room as well. This time, I did not see any emotes, so I don't know whether we should be calling them the emote king or not. In any which case, the others, surely, but there's one point, right, where majority of the teams are missing. That is the position advantage. They're missing that a lot, and this time, if you miss the position advantage, it's just going to topple you down with a lot of points. And that's where I would say, well, if you're going to go for the early skirmish and get those eliminations, well, that's going to give you a very nice buffer.
Let's see who has the buffer, because it is the last and final day of the group stage. We've been talking about it. We've been discussing about which teams might have had the upper hand, but there are some really good underdogs who are now trying to take away those opportunities. When we kind of thought in Group A there could be somebody else running away with it, even from Group B, some obvious names always make it through, not much of a difficulty. But we've been seeing the games, right? It's gotten closer to being not at all comfortable. Like if you take, for example, right, Group A, the cutoff ended up around 72 points. When we made it to Group B, it surged up additional 11 points, went to 80 plus, and now today you cannot be sure about it. And that is one of the reasons we ended up seeing where we thought, I mean not us, but the team who managed to end up at that 7th spot had 72 points. They thought it was enough basis the Group A's performance. Yesterday Group B, that was not the case. It rose up, and today it could take in any direction, Azora.
Exactly, and specifically all of the heavy hitters that are already there in the group, this is going to be even more of a tough job for them to even accomplish. And moving forward, I believe our predictions are already locked in. I hope you guys have already predicted your following teams towards the top 3. Mine is going to be iQOO, OGxTSG, then Team Elite, and then later on Team Assassin's Army. Well, it looks pretty like textbook, right? But on the other end, I just love Rackers, all right, Nebula Esports alongside iQOO, OGxTSG as usual. But Rackers and Nebula, I would love to know your thoughts behind it.
See, to be honest, Nebula, I already mentioned, right? They are the troublemakers of the lobby. They will be the ones who will again try to ruin in the very first game. And iQOO, OGxTSG, plain and simple, you have to always get their name. But Rakers, these are, when we talk about underdogs, right? When we want to see, and especially with Kid there, I also had their name even last time when they were playing in the group stages, even during our play-ins. I wanted to see these lads get up a lot more eliminations and booyahs, and that is the reason I'm starting off by, again, rooting for Rakers Esports. Let's see if they'll be able to do it as we take a look at the preferred drop spots. And this seems to be nicely spread out, right? Rakers going at Rimnam Village, Mars Electric having a little bit of a trouble with Assassin's Army and RNX, and Pochinok, maybe the W squad gets closer, but it's going to be a good fight to see at Cape Town with Nebula and Team Elite both. Now, we spoke about Nebula. I already have them on my prediction as the troublemakers. And Team Elite, they better be ready for it. Otherwise, Nebula, I'm for sure knowing that they will take away all those eliminations at that start in the initial clash.
Exactly, and not only that, the initial clash needs to be a bit more with at least a plan, right? You have 3 members rushing down, at least getting some eliminations here or there, but that one member needs to survive at least for 2 minutes so that the entire recall system just works through. That's the initial point of the game, which you're just getting a leeway. And then later on, it's about getting the vending machine control, which majority of the teams love to capitalize in this very map. This is one of those places where we still see at the very end of 4th circle, there are 9 or 10 teams alive fighting it out for the real estate, for the positioning, and now heading from all the way Creighton to Hangar. This flight path is going to give the teams the space to head towards their drop locations.
Nebula and Team Elite, as we kind of saw in the preferred drop spot, it is what right now teams are moving into, and that's what we've been seeing recently. These preferred drop spots are giving us the right idea. It is not just one of those opportunities that teams are looking for. Swaroop in the initial fight. Body with a VSS is going to be the first one to knock the player out, get the elimination as well. Spark, even though he put a glue wall, did not give him a chance. Cropsy also running up, and this seems like Team Elite's start here in the last day of group stage.
Ooh, VSS versus VSK. I believe Spark has a lot of spark right here to at least ignite this fight and at least get a body or two. Goalie, you better run away as Spark is hitting all of the shots on target. But for now, the man count disadvantage, it is stinging them a lot. FX Elite from a far off angle. It's like a couple of elites pinching down Nebula Esports, and Nebula, they have to take a step back if they want to survive this entire onslaught.
Team Elite, they've gotten 3 eliminations. And now they have another opportunity to get more. Piyush up close, jumping party with a none other than Max 7. Started with the VSS and now moving towards a close range CQC shotgun. But FX Elite, understanding that Team Elite have had the better opportunity, are not giving them an initial battle. Cropsy charges in, wants his opportunity, glue wall placed, and the Valiant Dash coming right in, but they were ready for him with a Bison. Put him down. Cropsy's confirmation should come through, but Party trying to help out, but it doesn't work. Max 7 against him, and one after another, players of Team Elite just falter, and it's down to Piccolo, who is trying to keep at a distance and see if he could snipe somebody down. Will be the only man standing, running right to the vending machine, and only one opportunity to revive one player, and he gets Bahari back up.
That's right, and Nebula. Well, they're very close. Now I believe Team Elite, they're now going to like their position. Piccolo somehow surviving, just waiting for the members to drop down. FX Elite on the other end, they're on a hunt. They want to know where Piccolo is. Take him down, get that additional elimination point in their pocket. And well, this is the battle right here. But what's happening in the entire map, I would love to know.
We will see. But this has become a lot more crucial for Team Elite's survival. Thankfully, after getting Pahari up, and then we end up seeing Cropsy as well. But Nebula, who had an initial battle, did not go in their direction. They're again back at Cape Town to re-challenge. This time, they don't have complete idea that there are 2 teams, not just one, who took them down. And FX Elite, who had a UAV being launched against them, they're still going in for a challenge. And I think Piccolo, even if he goes down, the best advantage for sure is pick up an elimination, then go down. But if he still goes down, he's bought enough time for the other players to survive. And you can see the full squad is back up for Team Elite.
And not only that, there's even NAAZ very close to this fight. Like, there are like 3 teams already in one vicinity. Sorry, 4 teams now. Oh boy, this is such a pickled situation. Avijit on the other end, he's just constantly dishing out the damage, getting the eliminations. But well, Narikutum, the pack of wolves are taking a fight against RNX. And so far, RNX, they have already given 2 points away.
RNX, while they should have been the ones that we were hoping for to take advantage of fights, get the elimination, seems like it's not the case. However, Ronit wants to be the one on Ronak from ZUIPTS. Rocket launch pad quickly being used, makes a jump. We'll see if it'll work out, but Piccolo is making the deed happen. A challenge came in and he was able to do the deed with only 1, but then instantly Agent becomes the secret coming in from the side of NAAZ Esports and instantly puts the players down. And the challenge coming in from FX Elite does not work. Piyush and Avijit instantly get shut down. And their challenge will be forced to back off. Volt now making a run, but he's going to instantly match up with one player from Nebula, but he's in the compound, so therefore Volt should be safe, and Sound gets in the vehicle, boosts, and then gets off.
Yeah, instant NOS being utilized. Volt like a bolt, running away as he has one of the hit lists on him. Eliminate Swaru, but Swaru, I don't think so it's going to be that easy for him to do it. As Volt, he's just trying to survive and reach close to his teammates. That's a really good call. Being the sniper, you should not be the first one to be severed away from the team. And well, Narikutum, they're already smelling a lot of blood. They're heading towards Rimnam village just to take the battle. They've already seen one of the members take the launch pad. Adib, you better be careful. And he, I believe, is stalling for the team's survivability of it. Adib finally takes the launcher. He's going to be safe. Is he? Yes, he will. All of those flicks did not work for Narikutum. But they're not going to be sad about this. They're just happy that the entire Rimnam village is theirs.
Yeah, it's clear for the time being, and the circle is right in front of them. So not much to be worried about. Also, a vending machine at the grasp if they want to buy something up. Alim does not have coins, but at least his teammates should, I presume. And there you can see 700, 800 and 1400 for script. So yeah, they have money. Not much to be worried about. But what is NKG's play next? While they've gotten 2 eliminations, you can see Team Elite, who managed to have the early start, still have the highest at 5 eliminations. And NAAZ Esports, they have 4, with their challenge in the same position at Cape Town. And it seems like the W squad have another challenge, and they've almost destroyed the vehicle of ZUIPTS. But the players are very separated, and even iQOO OGxTSG is in this battle.
Whoa.
Spark better be wary about this. Iconic has climbed downhill, whereas iQOO OGxTSG now might have a battle with the W squad.
I mean, you cannot climb mountains with a supercar, and that's one thing that W Squad has already understood. And on the other end, there's even NAAZ coming down towards the picture, and they're like, you know what, let's take a detour. Let's not head right into the arms of the opponents, and that's a really good call coming in from their end. They're playing away from the circle, and they do not want to be gate-kept at all. iQOO OGxTSG, couple of eliminations, they're not at all being so rampant like they usually are towards the starting of the map. And finally, those shots, the scatter shot comes through from the court, but the HP is the only thing that I saw dwindling. And that's it, no confirmation, no knocks coming through. FX Elite on the other end, just calling in from random rotations just to see what's happening here.
As of now, it looks like a little wary in terms of decision making of if there is a fight or not. But iQOO OGxTSG, it seems like there's a fight with the Bolt Maker being called. They're being forced into this action. Aditya, nice shot coming in from Krish. He's still surviving. Wait, it was Krish finding another player, not Aditya. But Aditya will be finally taken down. The Woodpecker doing the deed. The elimination should also be confirmed. Rudra on the other end. Can he do something? He was on the upper edge of the hill. Ayush is chasing down. Call being given, but the Winchester will knock the player down. A little too far away are the teammates. Krish is the only one as the savior who could get closer, but is also tanking the damage coming in from the zone. So he'd be better in this fight. Melter being used. His teammate gets close by. Now they want to make sure they oppress Rudra in this 2v1 situation. But they're making sure they are very clinical in the approach.
Here's the thing, right? If you push Rudra straight up, it's going to be problematic. The tum-tum shots coming from the Winchester is just going to take you down in an instant. And for that, you need the glue walls on point. And I don't think so Ronit has any in his pocket. So he's just going to back out from this fight. Arjun on the other end, on the pursuit. He's running away as Assassin's Army. They are very close, inching and getting the elimination, securing onto this one player. And finally, Krish is like, you know what? It's about darn time. Let's just take down Rudra. And there you go. Those shots come through, but it's a manpower disadvantage through which the member fades away. iQOO OGxTSG playing this so clinically, and they're very precise about what needs to be done next.
But because they're playing outside the zone, there's still trouble here, Azora. Bolt Maker as well. Assassin's Army chasing. Ronit knows, hearing the footsteps. He has an idea that this fight is not going to work in his direction. Healing UAV being used. Krish also being helped. Ronit trying to buy time, but Hemu is super low in ground, and Ronit had no clue about it. Initial sniper shot connects, confirmation. Now Krish knows he has no option of running. He has to go in for a challenge, and that challenge is only good for a knock on Wild Fox. As Sabo instantly puts him down. That is Assassin's Army cleaning up shop here of iQOO OGxTSG. Still, it's not a full-on wipe. They, however, get 5 eliminations in total of their own.
They had a stratagem. They already knew we have to send one of the members away from this fight because you never know what's going to happen next. Couple of teams, they were already there, and this third party was just a beautiful sight for Assassin's Army, and they were assassinating so many members of the opponents. And well, 5 elimination points on them. And wait a second, Ayush? He's been bitten right off. 12th spot is what iQOO OGxTSG has received in the map of Bermuda. And this is one of their favorite maps. So I believe this is Problems Paradise for them.
Yeah, it is. It's gotta hurt here, Azora. iQOO OGxTSG, one of the big names that we were kind of thinking that they should have an easy start. It seems like they've all had a big trouble. And now they have to worry about how do they recover in the next games. But this opens up the opportunities for the underdogs, the teams who've made it from the city qualifiers. All of them should be awoken right now to take this as an advantage. Rakers being one of them, and that is the reason I had them on my prediction. Can they do it? As of now, not even a single elimination, but right in front of them here in Graveyard, they have VASIYO Esports. Now VASIYO made it to the LAN. We just earlier saw the graphics, but VASIYO, we saw it was not at all a great run in the spring LAN, that they tried to put their forces down, but as survivors, they ended up in the last spot. But can they do something different? But doing something different, it's again Assassin's Army knocking at the doorsteps of Team Elite.
That's right, Pahadi. He thought about just getting away from this fight, and it's Piccolo, the last man standing. trying to survive for the team, and Assassin's Army, they are changing the fate of so many of them. This is the second squad that they have wiped clean. I do understand there was one member left for iQOO OGxTSG that was taken away from some other team, but Assassin's Army, they just know, they have understood the assignment. Big dogs, you have to take them down in order to get those points, and right now, Rackers, they're kicking up a notch here, taking those shots onto Narikutum, and Narikutum, they are getting separated. They should stick together in order to survive the onslaught here as well. Kid taking constant pot shots, and he's spotting a lot of members running around.
Trying their best to get an opening. They've not found a single elimination. Same would be the intention of ZUIPTS. While I thought Nebula will be the troublemakers, I have to change it for the fact that it is going to be Assassin's Army. A quick replay of what happened. We saw this battle. Assassin's Army charging in the forefront of iQOO OGxTSG, putting Ronit as well as Krish down. Krish found a knock. The M590 shot was good, but not for a confirmation. And once he went down, Ayush, the last one, couldn't do much. But right now, a dash iconic put Patlu down. Whoa, no, it was not him. It was on the grenade launcher that Patlu put himself down. Now, Iconic's been taken on. Swaroop and Spark trying their best, and Spark finds one. King, however, troubling both Spark and Swaroop, puts both of them down. And look at Tiger comes in clutch as the beast puts his jaw in ZUIPTS and eliminates them from Bermuda.
Oh, that was absolutely spectacular. Clutch is what I can say for Tiger. Well, he has saved the day for Nebula Esports. Nebula, they were down to the last limb, and the way Tiger has just saved the grace, this is just beautiful. And now repositioning themselves towards the circle, they have to be wary about all of those opponents who are already there towards it. The others just making their way, and as I can see, Rackers is just constantly taking those shots on each and every one. First, it was Narikutum, now FX Elite, and all of a sudden, FX Elite, they have already known the locations of where RNX is. So one mistake, one slip of the tongue, and they might just fall.
They might. So many times they've been trying to take a fight, it's all just shots being sent off. Very wary. They're trying to just invite for a fight, but it's not been working. Something that's somehow blessing them is going to be the circle's edge. Therefore, they are in the circle compared to the other competitors. RNX, FX Elite, and even VASIYO are next to them, along with on the mini-map that we can see Nebula. None of them are inside the circle. So that's an advantage for Rakers Esports. Now, FX Elite, there's one man behind to try and create a menace. It's going to be Shoko. I'm not sure if they saw him making a jump, but that could be a problem. FX Elite on the other end, a melter being thrown from the side of Rakers. Shoko trying to close the distance with the zone doing the damage. Hassan also being spotted now. Armana Nabi throwing the distance, but it's not going to be enough. FX Elite, however, understanding there's a lot of problem, but a nice nade from Anshu Jr. puts one down. More to follow up. Glue also not working as the Riptide Rhythm pops off. Time Turner being used as the last line of safety defense, but for how long? Flash Freeze now will chip more of the health. There is more problems being caused. Anshu Jr. once again with Shobit, one after another. Rudra is down, Volt as well, but he gets a quick recovery coming in from Avijit, and now down to the last two members. And FX Elite, their run on the graveyard ends to be them digging their own grave.
Rackers, the early advantage to be inside the circle, and FX, they have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Oh wait, what? That's a downpour coming in from Nebula as well. The 4-color rainbow is giving their blessings, and soon they might fight up against Rackers as well. They better be aware, they better be ready. Kid, shut down. Punish, shut down. The others still surviving and hiding for themselves and trying to create the room, but it is going to be Nebula. They're just constantly keeping tabs on where the opponents are. Shobit, now they're getting chased by RNX, and RNX, my oh my, this is how the tables turn. First you need to know where the opponents are, and then take some very calculative shots, and that's one thing that Rackers have missed. Couple of players still surviving, and Nebula, they just know where the noise is coming from, and they're just holding those angles.
Holding as long as they can and will want to. Kid flying down. He instantly got chipped off, but not much to be worried about. On the other end, challenge is still coming in from Nebula. They spot Bulls from the side of the W squad. W squad Bulls has been trying on his own, finding openings. Shoko now finding one on Tiger, causing problems for Nebula. Quickly, Spark gets revived. Tiger is still back on his feet, so there is still an opportunity. And Nebula, look at them using the edge of the wall, making a run across, making sure they dodge all their opponents. But Bulls is still knocking at the doors of Assassin's Army. But now Nebula have their address. Can they go and challenge him? Rakers on the other end still defending inside the house and will be able to hold off against Choco, and RNX are in big deep trouble. Anshu Jr. gets knocked, but it's going to be Shobit to save the day. Not for long as Spark finds him from afar, and that's the end for all the efforts that the Rakers Esports put.
That's right, an Assassin's Army, they've already been eliminated from this map. The top 4, ladies and gentlemen, W Squad on the other end, they have no man count at all. Just one member to go ahead and showcase that they can do much, but unfortunately, that's not going to make the cut as Tiger takes such good shots. Well, the clash is already here, and VASIYO versus this team. Nebula Esports going toe-to-toe, and W Squad in the midst of all of that have been eliminated. This battle looks to be very single-sided towards NAAZ as they have the pack together. All 4 members surviving, and well, they're taking those shots onto the opponents one by one, making them fade away. And now the fight against Nebula. This is not going to work well for them as those shots are coming. Singing, Spark being the last member standing, and well, Money where the entire place is lit up. NAAZ taking that booyah.
NKG Esports and Money with a big 3 in that final fight, taking all the 3 players down one after another with the M590. Shotgun shells one after another deep into the chests of their opponents, and what a booyah to start for. And this is what I said, as soon as iQOO OGxTSG were out, other teams, they have to look forward to this opportunity, and NKG Esports, what a way for them to get this booyah, especially in front of Nebula Esports. And Nebula were just surviving the way they were able to fend off the bullets. They almost looked like they had some shield wearing that would send the bullets away from them. And in that final fight, it came down to Money isolating majority of the fights with the side of Nebula and his teammates helping and chipping it off. Let's take a look at the last shot, and you can see a nice nade being tossed by Aleem, and then Money on the last player of VASIYO, that is going to be Zap. With him being taken down, it came down to NKG versus Nebula, and you can see how Nebula put down one player from NKG, Script and Aleem both down, and then it was Money running across, put Swaroop down. Spark was there, the last man standing, and the last bullet also sent for them to get their booyah.
That's right, they sent them backing, and the MVP. Well, it has to be Money. The final battle was so beautiful, glorious, as we could see those shots connecting. Absolute spontaneous decision coming from NAAZ, and they just stuck together. They knew that they need to bag in this booyah as well. 12 plus 14, well, that's a lovely start they've already gained for themselves. 6 elimination is what Money has, and alongside that, the damage itself, 3200 up above and beyond performance coming in. So, well, this Russia has for sure given the team the kind of room and the space to build themselves and then rake up some really good points.
Indeed, and on top of it, I really like that I'm seeing Susie back in play on the end of the sniper. People were slowly transitioning out from the Susie, getting back Rafael into play. Right as now he has it, and that does give us an idea that he's also looking forward to that extra cash to get the players back up or get themselves a lot more in terms of utilities from the vending machine. And with that, you can see he also is close to the damage being done by the MVP, is at 3091. His teammates, however, Aleem and Hyper, ended up being the supports. Money's support was Aleem, and here Script support was Hyper, and played really well on their roles. As you can see, with being a healer, it is very crucial that you keep getting your players back up. And also on top of it, that Hyper has done knockdowns, tells us that he was there whenever the team needed it, or if any player was being taken down, he was there to put the opponent to knock and then give them enough space to get them back on their feet. And with that, with this booyah, a total of 26 points secured for NKG in game number 1 here on the last day of the group stage.
Well, Nebula Esports, they've done enough in the first game itself. 23 total points grabbed from there, and just 3 shot. The W squad as well, sticking close again and again, getting 7-7. That's a very nice balance of numbers. Assassin's Army, they were running rampant. We did see them, but at one point of time, they just forgot that the circle needs to be the first priority, and that's where I believe the entire car just gassed out. NAAZ Esports as well, lovely performances coming from there, and double digits is all good because you need the initial momentum, and the other teams were still stuck in a single digit, which is at ZUIPTS, iQOO OGxTSG, Team Elite, RNX Esports, FX Elite. Well, they better buckle up in the starting few games itself because it's going to be problematic moving further deep down in this entire lobby.
Let's talk about how NKG made it all happen. You can see they were around Katolistiva, went towards Graveyard, and then moved all the way towards Rimnam village, where we saw they were pushing off RNX, and they were successful in that, and then they made their way back to Graveyard. And you can see in that entire flow, right, they've always been at the edge of the circle, except for the W squad who caused them trouble at the very beginning. NKG from then had their footing very well placed here in the first game of Bermuda. They knew what they wanted to do, but I really like how the W squad, last member, look at Bulls. He was surviving for such a long time, fighting and taking multiple players down with him. Yes, I'm not sure about the number of knocks and eliminations he was able to do in terms of a ratio, but the amount in the elimination feed that I was able to see, at least in terms of knocks, were 1:3. If one player from another team finds the knock, he at least has found 2 or 3. That tells of how, as an individual and the last survivor, he would still be able to knock opponents out. However, it was just game number 1, and the W squad need more to do in the later games.
Indeed, man. They have to do a lot more. The initial bit has already been done, and Narikutam, that's what they rely on. The initial point of contact, the first game being good, and then easily they can qualify themselves. But this is just on top of my head. I'm just talking things out loud. My thoughts are just being showcased right now. But in any which case, the others are definitely buckling up, and they are going to showcase in the next following game how well they can perform. And before all of that, our predictions, right? Let's just go ahead and see our top 3s, and I'm hoping that you guys have your top 3 locked in as well, so we can have that perfect comparison of which team is going to qualify, which team is going to reach towards the top 3, because it's all about that battle. It's about getting the 12, 9, 8, 7, 6 points, and that is going to give a lot of edge to those teams and confidence to those teams who are still lacking behind with the elimination game.
And when we talk about the elimination game, a team that kept it on top was Nebula, and that is one of my predictions, along with Assassin's Army being same for both of us, and then RNX. Right. And I think RNX just did not have enough opportunity to show themselves up. But one team that you have went and picked off, which is looking a little off, I mean, I'm pretty sure the audience will agree that it has to be Team Elite, but like Team Elite and like how we was talking about Pahari, even Ronit, right, from iQOO OGxTSG had the same fall with only 5 eliminations. Both those teams got eliminated, and they are the big wigs when you talk about it here on our last day of the group stage, and them not having a good game. I'm a little doubtful for again to start it all, because in general scenario, when we move to Solara, as you can see, preferred drop spots with a clash at Delta Isle and Riders Club. One thing that I can talk about is it's not easy when you kind of tell that, hey, every team is under pressure. Doesn't matter who that player is, however big he is, everybody still feels the pressure. And right now, that might be what iQOO OGxTSG and Team Elite are facing.
Exactly, man. This itself, the drop spots, it's just screaming one thing a lot louder than compared to the previous one. The drop clashes to be imminent right at the word go. We can see the drop clash towards Delta Isle. We can see towards Riders Club as well. And all of this data has been accumulated all thanks to the Plains performance alongside the way they have performed even in the group stage as well. So all of that tabulated together has given us this kind of information. And well, as long as we see the past history as well, as long as we see the way they have already performed previously, that's going to give us even more room on what they can do next. So it's like a pattern recognition that we can usually see towards Delta Isle. I just love the way RNX usually capitalize it first, and they just wait on for the other teams to drop down as well. And this time they have even iQOO OGxTSG. This is going to be a perfect threat situation. And Assassin's Army, they just love the third party that much. And well, Solara is that map where the third party is always going to be right around the corner, because that one slippery slope is a way to go towards those fights. And now we head towards this map. Second one, ladies and gentlemen, a lot more entertainment on our way.
Indeed, a lot more. As you can already see, VASIYO Esports, they take a drop along with Nebula's Tiger, who always playing for survival is his key game. Rakers on the other end, they place themselves at the hub, which is going to be the place where they will be away from any at least early clash, because Nebula is close by at Waterfall. So their advantage, at least on this game, is going to be that there are going to be slide rails, and if teams want to either engage or disengage, that is the quickest way. But right now, quickest way at the fight is going to be at Riders Club with Team Elite as well as Assassin's Army, and even a TV tower with RNX and the W squad.
Oh, they shifted? Alright, TV tower. Delta Isle has been completely left empty, thinking that it's going to be a drop clash. And this change of pace. Okay, Assassin's Army, they have some kind of a vengeance or vendetta against Team Elite, and now they've already taken that personal. Well, there are some really good shots coming in. Sabo, HP low, but he instantly dashes back to safety so he can at least survive for a longer time. Piccolo, you better be aware. Sabo is right on top. He uses the Chrono Shield just to safeguard himself. And Wild Fox has been caught in the crosshair. This is not a good start for Assassin's Army. Oh my god, shots connecting again and again. And Team Elite so far, they are shining in this fight.
Both of us are gonna be proven wrong on our predictions. Team Elite. I mean, you have both Team Elite
Both
and
of
Assassin's
them.
Army, so it's a weighing scale that if Assassin's Army go out, Team Elite who get an upper hand, so you still made it work. But on the other end, for me, Assassin's Army, not what we ended up seeing in the previous game being replicated here, but Team Elite, there were little questions of what happened in the previous game, but this time again, they've started off strong. They always look strong at the very beginning. 3 eliminations already being picked up. And Nebula, they would also want to do the same. Launcher being used by Patlu up close. Has the Woodpecker now to take down. Kid position, known. He's waiting for Swaroop and Spark to get closer. Shobit and Anshu Jr. doing the same thing as well. It's going to be a 3v3 fight and Patlu with the opening on Shobit. Shobit was the man who was trying to run down, and now look at Spark and Swaroop closing the distance. Confirmation, Kid has also been taken down, and with all of it being done, Anshu will be the only player holding. Thankfully, before going down, he did use the vending machine, get one player back up, but that is all they're going to get. As Nebula, they're going to be the ones who are going to rake up these eliminations.
That's right, 3 eliminations strong. And there's one beautiful thing that I believe we all missed. The way Tanesh and Tiger, both of them think, is just so matched, man. They were on the bridge right next to each other, but they did not take shots onto them. It was just the teammate support that they were providing from afar. And this is the same thing that even Piccolo is going to do right about now. The Grenadier taking pot shots against Swaroop, and Swaroop is aware about the whereabouts of where Piccolo is. One rock to the cover and one shot to rock.
Let's see if we can. Team Elite started off strong. 4 eliminations they have.
They're full
UAV
sending it.
being used. Oh, there it is, the challenge. But they go directly to the vending machine first. And from there, now they've crossed and closed up against Nebula. Quick glue wall, but doesn't help. Both Spark and Kohli faltered together, but Cropsy with the rash, an instant max 7 hit, but doesn't still find the opening. Finally, he does. He doubles down. Patlu and Spark together are taken down. A double whammy, and now Swaroop in big trouble. What can he do? Half of his HP gone. Cropsy better with that max 7. Close 1v1 again, going into the machine, and Swaroop this time gets taken down. He did get the revive. Patlu also gets knocked as Kohli is back up, and Nebula, all their efforts instantly dusted off. And it is Team Elite with quick conversions pushing their overall elimination to 7 now.
That's right, but 3 members are still alive. And that's the beauty about this battle, right? The initial point of contact just to get the confidence factor rolling in. And now Tiger has been spotted. Shubha very close to taking this fight. Akimbo revolver in his hand. But there is going to be Zap from afar, zapping him down and getting the confirmation. And well, Shubho, they're still looking for more points. What's happening there? This one spot for Spark is like a death ring. And Spark is yet again going to bow down and say, I beg for mercy.
Unfortunate that they tried to keep at it. VASIYO, however, better show up that this time that they are trying to do. Yes, they made it to the top 4, but the way they were able to hold themselves off was not that great. When you talk about a great performance, iQOO, OGxTSG, they were one of those same teams who couldn't do much. They had just 5 eliminations. Made it to TV Tower. RNX is right now holding. They're on top of the roofs. And iQOO, OGxTSG moving in the other direction. And Shoko is a little further away. There could be an opportunity to put Shoko down first. And it seems like his position's compromised. Chasing him down. Teammates have to provide cover fire and then do right in time. And iQOO, OGxTSG, they're forced to back off.
That's right, and now they're paying off for the sins. There you go, Nari Kutum on their way. Hot pursuit. Arjun, good shot's been taken, and the second knock comes through. But I believe this is going to be an easy revival as Hyper is pretty close. Aleem, he's been picked clean. Money still not confirmed, and this can be that opportunity that iQOO OGxTSG is going to miss real soon. Finally going for the confirmation shots, and the close by shots coming through as well. Krish, he is going for the knuckle cluster, but well, he has been taken down. Not a good sight for iQOO OGxTSG as those number games have already been dwindled down. Arjun being the last man standing, self-bite utilized, and he's aiming for that vending machine. 400 tokens is all he has, and Shoko is right in front. Shoko, can he spot him? Yes, he does, but I believe the revival has already been given.
Yes, at the nick of time, didn't even think of dabbling in a battle, he just went in for the revive. Ayush, it's not a super revive, so he will have to wait for a long time before he has best of his resources up for the battle. But iQOO OGxTSG, seems to be upsetting. This is not how we end up seeing them. Yes, there is a lot banking, especially with now Ronit taking command. We already saw, we were speaking about it. There's the graphics about how the game started today. And now Team Elite with another challenge. This time it's going to be VASIYO, Kohli and Cropsy. But Cropsy is the first to fall. Surrounded in a 4v2 and now a 4v1. Kohli cannot do much, trying to run away, but VASIYO Esports are already on the chase, and Kohli will also be put to rest. And Team Elite, they also seem like they are suffering one after another. iQOO OGxTSG with their official confirmation and Team Elites to follow up. What is happening? This is not the sight that neither us nor the fans wanted to see. But it seems like there can be heartbreaks. That were a question we had, Azora, for both of us in day one. Seems like it might happen today.
Well, Team Elite, they're still reigning supreme. They have 12 eliminations, and it's the overextenders that are getting punished, pummeled down to being eliminated from this map. And that's the pattern that I've seen usually happen in the map of Solara. And the others who can control their aggression, for example, RNX with 11 eliminations. They're 4 members strong. That's the calculative decisions that they're making. And the others, they're falling short from that. VASIYO, they have 10 eliminations on their name, and they're just running around constantly, seeing where the opponents are. Now they're locking horns against Assassin's Army as well.
Assassin's Army, Sabo isolated. He's the first to fall by Arup Strogan. Confirmation as well. Wild Fox trying to make a run, but he will be spotted as quick as possible. But Ash with the M70 trying his best. Launcher used. Knocks being done. But for how long? He was on the roof, position compromised. And it is only Wild Fox who tries to make a run. But Zap sends off a zapping VSK shot. And that's the end for Assassin's Army as well. What a quick flurry of eliminations and teams to falter one after another. In less than a minute, we've seen 3 teams now out of Solara.
That's right, man. Solara can be so brutal. And now I believe the shift has come through. Just to balance all the odds, it is W Squad trying to W their way forward, but they have already lost one of the members in the meanwhile. As those shots are connecting through Zap, he wanted to provide the support and the cover, but unfortunately the members are falling down. Zap, he better be prepared as one of the members. He's on the bridge, and W Squad, they have the vending machine right in front, so they can go ahead and bring back those fallen players as well.
And that's what Bulls did with the zone chipping off on Zap. He got the last elimination on Assassin's Army, but right now he's stuck on a roof and nowhere close to his teammates. Bulls, we spoke about him, the way he was trying to find eliminations in that final fight. Put that W Squad up in the final fight. But right now, shots being taken. Zap chips off half of the health. Stealth Bites now being forced to reposition. He knows that 1v1 might not be in his advantage. Shubo now moving in the distance of the opponents, making sure as Zap tries to close the distance, regroups. Shubo also finds something, and there it is, the opening. Aditya could not do anything. Valiant Dash well placed and used to destroy the glue wall and the opponent at the same time, and now the W Squad are being forced to back off.
Yeah, they're pressing the S key now, just to back away from this fight. Shubo, nonetheless, his HP is way too low. He's trying to run away for his dear life, but it's not going to be that easy. Last member standing, W Squad. What a way to just say that we are going to be passive and then become instantly aggressive in the situation. That's a very nice bait and switch, and this team is going to do wonders as long as they can keep their textbooks absolutely on point. Rudra still trying to jump around, see what else can be spotted and get those eliminations as well. NAAZ very close to VASIYO. And well, I believe this is going to be yet another confrontation. Shubo, HP low, and he instantly puts in the glue wall. But this is not going to be enough. He's very close to the vending machine. And Shaitan, well, he has been taken down. The back off angle was absolutely spectacular, and those shots sublime.
With this replay, we can see why the W Squad are fighting like this now. Taking opponents down, making sure they're strategic on it, and clearly outshining. But again, iQOO OGxTSG, the last player of how he was found out around the edges of Eco Drain. Unfortunate. Very early wipeouts for very big squads. And right now, it seems like NAAZ will also suffer. Shaitan thought that he was safe and sound for a 1v1, but the entire squad of the W is here 10 eliminations in their name, and NAAZ will be forced in the other direction. But NAAZ, they're in the top 6 in the race right now. 6 eliminations of this game, total 21 points as of now. But the W squad, they want to make it better because they're at the 4th spot, 10 elimination. And in this top 6, we can see it is only NEBULA that we can see who are up in the race along with VASIYO Esports. Everybody else are just trying their luck and making it happen. And it seems like NKG want another for themselves against RNX.
Lovely nade though, Aleem. You better run away from that very spot. Hyper is still stuck in the corner. There you go. Graffiti's blessing being utilized, so no nades are going to affect this player. RNX in that very RB. They're trying their level best to survive. It's a 4-member and 1 nade can just change the entire course of action. The others have a very nice fielding set. Narikutum, the pack of wolves, they're trying their level best to at least pester down on at least 1 member of RNX, but it's not happening just yet. It's taking its own sweet time. HP is dwindling down money. What a lovely angle taking down Hassan, and from here on, the members are fading down. Shoko being the last member standing, trying his level best. He needs to survive as well and bring back the entire team, which I believe is going to be a huge task. Hence, fortifying himself inside this very spot. It's only going to be VASIYO that can save the day, as Narikutum, they're just waiting for the right time to bank on and get this entire squad wiped.
Not gonna happen as of now. No saving grace here for Shoko. However, W squad, they're getting closer. The circle right close by, and that is the reason NKG are not forcing the matter on hand. Stealth bites, the timing might be perfect. He's running to the slide rails. He's moving the right direction. VASIYO, they cannot move into a fight because they are also down to their last 2 legs, and Shoko somehow has made it out. But can he get closer to a vending machine? We have to wait and watch. He moves from one camper to another, and now biding time. On the other end, they cannot bide time. It's going to be NKG. They already have a battle. That is going to be the W squad ready. W squad have better eliminations. NKG will be forced back with the flash freeze melters as well. But look at Rudra's position. I think Rudra, he will be crucial. If he finds the opening, it will give the W squad a run right towards the squad of NKG. Nades being tossed. Is there an opening? The glue walls are blocking the nades for the time being. Money, a little bit of a chip, but Rudra now regroups.
That's right, and Graffiti's blessing is helping a lot for this team to go ahead and survive all those nades. W squad instantly knowing that this is not the fight that they need to take, else they will be stuck outside the circle itself. Let NKG do what they do best. Let them try and reach inside the circle. We are going to gatekeep them. That's the kind of concept that they have inside their head. Plus the bolt maker will do the talking in those corners, and W squad send them backing. Narikutum, one big mistake and they trip and they fall.
They waited, they let them close the distance, and W squad once again winning another battle. And in the same time, even VASIYO Esports, they get eliminated, did not have much space. And however, with them going out, more opportunities for the others. Nebula and Rakers close by once again. There could be a battle. Rakers, they have not had much in terms of a clash. However, Nebula, they have a clash being received from FX Elite. But because they're at a distance, they'll be using the glue walls, trying to patch themselves up. Medkit as well, but Rakers as well, using this opportunity as Nebula are out in the open. But FX Elite, the shot that they took was from a distance, and therefore this fight doesn't continue instantaneously. However, with the zone closing in, FX Elite are being forced ahead. But right next to them is going to be the W squad. They have a cover. That's going to be the boulder, and that is the reason FX Elite call in their own cover as the monster truck.
That's right. The artificial cover, it is helping them out for now. All of them just taking pot shots against one team, trying to take away Rakker's opportunity to survive inside the circle. Shobit being the last man standing. Look at the way he's been peppered from 2 different teams altogether. And it's not even their favorite ones. They're just taking those shots just to see what's going to happen next. Shobit, the last man standing, HP low, and he has been taken right clean. Rudra with his whistle clean shots. And that's another team dusted.
18 big eliminations for this squad, now having a challenge. Aditya is the first one to fall, but FX Elite outnumbered right now by the W squad. They thought they can just go in for a challenge. Aditya is the only casualty they had. Walt, the last one standing, now tries to run away. Nebula have all their 4 players, and Nebula use this as an advantage. Take against the W squad, take the player down, and now the W squad, they're also a 2v2, but what is this, Walt? He hits a big shot on the players of Nebula, buying some time, and that time was used by the W squad to reposition.
That's right, one launcher, just making them head all the way towards the circle. as a shrink shifter. It is
there.
doing numbers. It's just helping the team overall build a very nice reputation. Volt on the other end, not stopping. M24 switching around with the arm, and he's just constantly keeping tabs on where the opponents are. But still, look at Nebula. They are rushing down. They are keeping the entire squad intact, regardless of what has happened. Spark is still on the ground. He's gonna get the revival real soon, but those shots coming in from Volt, it's helping a lot. Distract what's gonna happen next.
Volt, however, he managed to make it through here. Now doesn't have much. 8 in terms of glue walls. Uses the
How is he
monster
alive?
quickly to reposition. Doesn't work. Rudra with a Winchester puts him down, and now it comes down to the actual 2v4. Initially, it could have been a 2v2 between the W squad as well as FX Elite. It's done for.
It's done
and
for.
with Tiger finding the opening, Bulls is down. This is what I was talking about. Bulls has been the main man here. 8 eliminations. Rudra also siding with him. 9 of his own, but he couldn't get closer for that elimination. Has a max 7 and on, using the slide rails with the glue wall, but Spark puts him down with the ACAT and Nebula Esports. What they missed in game number 1, they make sure they secure, is going to be game 2's booyah.
That's right, good number games, good amount of elimination, and well, Tiger is flexing that logo as well. Spark just dusting it off, saying that whatever dirt has come in the first game, it's okay. We have rectified those mistakes, and Nebula, what a way to embark on the journey of comeback. This is just the second game, and it just feels like it's very close to giving us the decision on which teams are going to be there towards top 6. 10 eliminations, 12 placement points, total of 22 points attained in this very game, and even in the previous one, they received the second spot. Damn!
Exactly. That is the one that you have to be worried about. Worried about in the sense for the teams who are playing. FX Elite, you have to give it to Walt. Man, what were those shots from his end? He tried his best to be a problem for the side of Nebula, but it was not enough. The numbers, if Walt had anything to add on, it could have worked. But at the end of the day, Nebula, they made sure that this time they had the numbers, position as well. And the timing for them to jump towards the fight with the W squad was just perfect. FX Elite and the W squad were in a fight. FX Elite suffered a little bit of losses. And at the same time, when the numbers were a little weaker on the side of the W squad, Nebula just jumped in, swooped, took the fights as an advantage and forced the W squad to reposition. W squad bought some time, but it was not enough. And the MVP is going to be their sniper. This man saved them from game number 1, and this time made sure he becomes the MVP and gets the booyah. 6 eliminations, 2370 damage with wielding the active skill of Morse, the stealth bites.
Repositioning king, man. Even in game number 1, Tiger was a game changer. All thanks to him. Couple of players who were knocked. They were up on their feet, instantly repositioning themselves towards graveyard, and that entire scenario I can never forget. Same thing happens here as well. Tiger was the game changer. Raphael, well, we all know one shot on the opponent, and if he's knocked, he's gonna bleed instantly. So that's just helping overall. Regardless of how many times he keeps getting knocked, well, that's just going to be a really good situation created by Tiger for his team. And well, all 4 members were surviving till the very end. That just means one thing and one thing only. The kind of unity that they have, it's much better than the pack of wolves.
Right, Azana? Indeed it is, Azora. Much better than anybody out there. If you're able to be in the top 2 in back-to-back games, that tells us of what an amazing game it was. But even for the W squad, because they have had more in terms of eliminations, and also they've surpassed 30 plus points without a booyah, tells you of how aggressive these I wanted to say the underdogs, but when you play like this, I cannot give you that tag. The game they played, the way they were able to hit shots one after another. 31 points, come on. That was them seeming like they are the menaces, the monsters of the lobby, and rightfully so, they did justify in terms of their action.
And not only that, they justified their name as well, W Squad. Just getting W's all across. And victories as well. And the way they have repositioned, look at that, just taking fight against NAAZ Esports and leaving Shaitan all to his lonesome, and the others, Kryder, Benz, they tried their level best to head towards the circle, but again it was W squad just trying, and well, at the end it was the manpower disadvantage that they had, but they created such a huge buffer. It doesn't matter whether you get the booyah or not. It's about those number games, and not a single circle they've gone radio silent. 4, 4,
Yeah,
2, 5,
yeah.
7. It's like dialing someone's number, which is like 5 digits short.
That sounds interesting when you say these numbers are some international ones, and maybe the W squad, after seeing what the Indian squads just did in EWC, maybe something that they want to do, and the W squad, rightfully so. Look at today's standings. Just with this second game that they matched the points with NEBULA Esports, tells you of how aggressive these lads were. 45 and 45 with the top two teams, and then coming in is going to be NKG at a difference of how much is it? 8 points. That is 37 right now with 8 points of a difference. Quick maths, not that great I am, but still managing. VASIYO Esports with 33 of their own. But let's talk about the teams at the bottom, and one big name, or maybe make it two, is Assassin's Army, Team Elite and iQOO OGxTSG with 15, 18 and 9 respectively. Avzora, this is a big surprise that I'm seeing with 2 games done, and these 3 teams are at the bottom.
Hey, Lucifer, that's not fair. You told 2 teams and all of a sudden they became 3?
Yeah. Yeah,
I do understand where the
add
concern
on.
factor is coming in as well, Lucifer. The concern factor is for real, for real. Team Elite, all this time, we did see some really good aggression. 17 eliminations with just 1 teeny tiny placement point. So why is that even happening? What's the problem? What's going on? Overextension? That's being a problem. So rectify it, because this is just the start. And this is going to be the 3rd game, right? Which is going to be up next. And after that, it's already halfway done. So when will the rectification come through?
I'm not too sure if there will be any, because if they don't do it right now in game number 3, they will be in big, deep troubles. Right as now, something that we can do is going to be cast the predictions and not fall into trouble, because we are not the ones who are going to be playing the game. We are just going to see if we could predict the right one, and you guys can also do the same. Team Elite, Nebula and NAAZ is what you've gone in for. I've picked up only one same name. There's going to be NEBULA Esports with FX Elite and NKG Esports, just because of what they did in game number 1. And somewhere I feel like, yes, they couldn't be very consistent to how they played the game number 1, but Solara is a more fast-paced map. You are forced for a lot more fights, and that is the reason I have NKG, and I think they should be able to do it. But you went in for NAAZ. I want to kind of get your idea on that.
See, NAAZ, they just love to face their demons, man. And the demons are that whenever the problem is arising, when they're rotating, that's where they have to tackle down those demons who are stopping them. So in order to do that, NAAZ is very well equipped, man. They love to switch around. The macros of this team is absolutely amazing. And that's the reason I've chosen NAAZ. Plus, they have been making Jaipur so proud, man. So just a plus representation coming in from their end. But anywho, heading towards Purgatory, I'm just going to be super excited with the fact that teams are going to show up, and whether the map is going to purge them or let them slide, well, that's going to be the time deciding it, brother. And the teams.
As of now, it is time for Purgatory. That's what we all decide, as it's going to be game number 3, our upcoming game in Purgatory. Bermuda, Solara, done. Kalahari, Nextera after Purgatory, and game number 6 to decide is going to be a random. Teams better be prepared. But while we take a look about preparations, let's take a look at the preferred drop spots, and you can see this is more evenly spread. But a warning, if Rakers Esports, if you could hear me, do not go to Mount Villa or Golf Course. NEBULA Esports, they're way too commanding in that position. We've been telling this many a times from FFMIs, from FFMICs all the time. This position in Purgatory seems like a stronghold for them. However, other places, please go fight.
Nebula, well, always they head towards Mount Villa. They just love the spot. I don't know what the exact, confidence factor is for them, but Mount Villa, it's one of the places where they head towards. If Rackers are heading towards Golf Course, well, it's going to be a problem situation being created right there. Marble works for W Squad. This will be a very nice invitation for a third party. And if the teams are planning to head towards Forge, Brasilia, Moathouse, Lumbermill as a pair, then we would love this map, man. We would absolutely love this map, because the drop clashes are going to give us a lot of room of understanding as well towards the mentality of the teams and the players as well. So the macro adjustments, they better be good, because this is the place where things can make and break most of the parts. And you never know what's going to happen towards a randomizer. It can be your favorite map. It can be your most envied map. So never bank on it, man. I personally don't bank on it.
Yeah, especially I think NKG shouldn't be banking on it. They've had such a great start. like how game number 2 did not work much in their favor, they should just figure out, hey, let's just
Exactly.
hopefully pick things up here in Purgatory, because if they do, I think it should be a good positioning for themselves, and they should be able to rake up a lot more points. If they do not, and they make a misstep and it goes all the way to game number 6, could be trouble. You mentioned about NAAZ, and I think very much necessary, especially that we have very fewer teams from the city qualifiers who are now making it to the knockout stage, and NAAZ on their last leg, their last opportunity. 1 and 2 games done. They've been even Stevens in terms of how many points they've gotten. In game number 1, they managed to get up around 12 points. In game number 2, they managed to get around 13 points, just one upping. Seeming like a performance which is going up, maybe by a point. I'll still give it to them because it's 1 and 2, and they will consistent compared to the other teams out there, but they need to do a lot more if they want to make it at the top 6. And we've been,
Exactly,
I think
man.
right now is the best time to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt that Team Elite, iQOO, OGxTSG, along with them there's Assassin's Army, the add-on that we would never thought of. This is your best time. These 3 teams are at the bottom. Take this top 6 right now and do not give them a chance of coming back. But hey, you fans, you should be rooting for teams like this and your favorites right now, because it's time for us to get to Purgatory very soon.
That's right, man. I would really give my sympathies for the ones who are planning that, well, we can stay here for much more time, we can just relax. But trust me, there's Assassin's Army just reaching right next to your door and probably even calling Daya just to break it down. And then from there on, you do not know what's going to happen next. And Assassin's Army, first 2 games, they were pretty consistent. I mean, first game itself, pretty consistent. Second one, not that much. And this might hinder the confidence factor that they usually roll in with. And that's what I would say. Well, this is the time to wake up. I would say it for every team who's there towards the 7th spot to the 12th spot. Wake up, as is the call time, because right after that, it's going to be Kalahari. It's going to be yet another map where you are going to be like, well, this is our own same game, but at the same time, there's another team coming right at your doorstep, stopping you on the tracks, and you will not be able to do anything. Why give that opportunity when you can rectify it now itself?
I'm pretty sure everybody's thinking, why are these guys just on and on about it? Because right now, if you take a look at the difference between the points in the standings, right, it is just around 2-3 points from the top 6 to the teams at the second page or the bottom half, 7, 8, 9 and 10. This is the opportunity for either of them. For the teams at the top 6, get more points. Make sure you solidify your position. For the teams at the bottom, there's still an opportunity to get back through. Yes, I'm pretty sure every fan out there, especially for Team Elite and iQOO, OGxTSG, will be rooting that this is not the start. We still believe in them, and I'm pretty sure as a Free Fire Max fan here sitting, looking at their performance of what iQOO, OGxTSG did from their very first FFMIC, and then we ended up seeing them in spring. There's been a drastic change in performance, and now going towards fall, they should pick up the pace even more. And with Team Elite, Pahari trying his efforts every time, stepping into these lands and trying to go in for the land, every time missing out the opportunity. The storyline is so big. I mean, this is not just the FFMICs we've been talking about. The amount of, I would say, experience that Pahari himself carries to kind of get to that land, and the people who are rooting for him to get back to the winning ways, there's a lot of history written for it. So hopefully he does it. So many things at stake. And imagine all of this is coming out on the last day of the group stage. Why? Because this is the final chopping block. Like when we spoke about it, 36 teams were there on day 1. But today, it's the last day. 18 teams is all we have, and 18 teams will be confirmed by the 6 teams who make their mark once they finish game number 6 today.
Fingers crossed. Well, Team Elite, they've already done it once. They have qualified from Mumbai. Mumbai City qualifiers was theirs, and from there on they have embarked this journey of reaching towards the group stages, week 2, and from here on I believe they're just looking at one thing and one thing only, which is the knockout stage. And if they're way too ambitious, then of course the LAN ticket, which they would love to take. But there's another team that you had mentioned, Lucifer, which is iQOO, OGxTSG. I believe that they're rolling back to the same tracks of being passive. Well, the game is aggressive. Aggression is their game. Aggression is what they can do, and all of a sudden being passive in the midst of the game itself. I could see them in the map of Solara. They were playing it pretty aggressive first, and all of a sudden their members went down and they could not keep a track on it. And that's a mistake that usually they keep creating. Might as well just redact all of that and then rectify it for the next following one, as Purgatory is going to give them the room and the opportunity. Brasilia is huge, right? There are a lot of houses, and usually whenever we see Purgatory, we get get reminded of Brasilia circles itself. So might as well get the howls, get the hard compound, get those early clashes and eliminations so that you can get the confidence factor back again, as we could see in game number 1. And now heading towards the third map of today, Purgatory, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to enjoy a lot of those vacation spots, but those vacation spots will be completely bombarded by all of these teams.
Game number 3 to decide if there is going to be a purge in Purgatory,
What?
or it is going to be somebody taking their course in action, which helps them out. But a skewed flight path starting from the Moat House, going only till Number Mill, not towards Central, not towards Mount Villa, and this will force some unforeseen instances that teams will have to deal with. And it seems like already happening at Moat House, which we rarely see, as ZUIPTS and RNX about to clash each other.
Moat House at one isolated island. There is one way to go in and one way to go out, but that one way needs to be very clean, as Rackers is right in front. At ZUIPTS, they're in deep trouble. And Shoko, I believe at this point of time, he's going to be away from the map itself. Oh yeah, there you go. He's at the extreme corner and he's taking a detour. Oh boy, this is crazy.
RNX, this is also not their likes that we've seen. They're an aggressive,
flight path,
young gunning team, but it seems like now they're playing a lot more on survival. Challenge coming in from ZUIPTS, because ZUIPTS are the teams at the dead bottom, so they have nothing to lose right now. That's how they will want to play out. Hassan has a lot more to lose, right? He has to play this. UAV being used for the time being. Healing UAV, can it help out? Not yet found, but Ronak finds the one. The Arman is down. Hassan to follow through, and players are faltering. Adib, super low on health, will be found out with the Trogan coming in from Safiq. And with that, 3 players from RNX just swept out, cleaned at Moat House.
Good decision that they had a backup plan. Shoko still away from all of this cluster, but there's another fight breaking down. Oh my goodness, the way iQOO OGxTSG is running rampant, getting 4 elimination points just like that. This is a really good start. They've already received it. And Brasilia, one of the spots they love to head towards, and that's where they have been towards. And the flight path, well, Curse is going all across as teams. They're like, this is not the place that we usually wanted to head towards. And well, what can you do?
What they can do is making sure they get more eliminations and points. And right now they have such opportunity. Let's not call it too soon. Anytime we've seen in game number 1 and game number 2, it's about them getting 4 and 5 eliminations and then being eliminated. This time they have an opportunity. Look at Arjun being smart ahead of the game. UAV also being used. iQOO OGxTSG really tried it. They have an opponent right in front. The UAV will give them the information. It will get destroyed. Alim in the forefront, and it's Ronit closing the distance right behind the vehicle. Alim's found out. NKG, unfortunate. Alim a little bit of a iffy on the glue wall, but thankfully quickly runs away. FGL coming in a little late, therefore Alim still managing to somehow survive. NKG are also closing at the distance. Alim might now bait it out. Closers in the corner, but Ronit and his teammate Krish were ready. And Krish does take up a little bit of a beating, but not much to be worried out as a knock. But Alim, he is going to be put to rest. Time Turner being brought out, being chased, and finally he will be knocked. Hyper also, who wanted to help him out with money as well, and it comes because of Arjun. We spoke about it ahead of the game. Sniper finds an opening, and now Script, all he has to do is run and get away. Otherwise, iQOO OGxTSG back to their winning ways if they get this confidence.
Well, from outskirts to the heart of Brasilia, this is the way you captivate the attention as well. FX Elite on the other end, they themselves are taking some really good fights, getting 2 eliminations on their name as well. That's a very good start. And one of the members, Volt, just galloping across. And well, there you go. The Arsenal, I believe it's going to be open right about now. They have good amount of tokens in their pocket as well. So Piyush, they would love to get an upgrade on those weapons. Well, this is one of the spots where I would say it'll just give the team the confidence earlier on itself in order to take those battles, and Tinoculus just to be calculative about where the opponents can be.
Finally, they make their entry to the Arsenal, but on the other end, entry into the elimination feed is going to be the W squad. They're picking up players from the Rakers.
Oh yeah.
That is again a big move coming in. A W indeed. W all across the chat is what I would want to see if the W squad gets themselves a booyah again. And it seems like they would want to, Nebula on the other end, they would want to make sure that they do not want to give them an opportunity. W squad, they got 31 total points in the previous game without a booyah, but they missed out on a booyah. If they can get one, they'll be happy about it. But let's take a look at the replay of what we saw in the elimination feed. Rudra on a 1v2 and he gets both of it. The painted refuge denying them any throwables, and his weapon of choice was just enough to get that 1v2. And players suffer from rakers.
Oh, that's a lot of suffering though. A lot of suffering. Rakers. Already it's like not a good situation for them, and now let's see how well Patlu can go ahead and take down Shaitan. Oh boy, this team is full sending themselves, whether it be an F1 car, whether it be a McLaren. Every single thing will be utilized just to get this one elimination. They're chasing him to the end of the world. And as long as he's going to bring back all the members, that's just additional fodder for the team. But Nadikutum versus FX Elite, Nadikutum already being denied with the ways of taking the fight against iQOO OGxTSG, and now taking yet another battle where Aleem has missed most of his shots. Even though the HP is less, it's the manpower advantage that this team is just going to sweep across and get the knock onto Aleem. And confirmation is imminent.
NKG have been suffering losses one after another. It was just game number 1 that they managed to grab 20 plus points, but after that they've been just getting eliminated. First from iQOO OGxTSG, but now iQOO OGxTSG, they have a little bit of a trouble. However, the player was not close by from NKG, and therefore quick revive being given using the Thiva. The passive comes into play and clutch as well. However, for NKG, they have more troubles. Money, he's stuck between Assassin's Army on one corner and VASIYO from the other, and VASIYO Esports, they're the ones who do the damage first. Zap, he's above, he has the height advantage. Money has the CQC but cannot work. It was the Oscar's Valiant Dash that hits him, and he's put to rest instantly by Shubo. And that is VASIYO Esports getting their very first elimination, and RNX on the other end still losing their players one after another. However, Rakers, they managed to recover.
Motaus to Ski Lodge, and none of it is helping RNX get what they want. 3 eliminations strong, still outside the circle. And Rackers, they definitely are kicking up a notch with their performance, and they're making a lot of noise as well. I hope they do not attract uninvited attention, and if that happens, then the third party might just sweep them across. But now it's just about rotation. They're just going to rotate, enter towards the circle, and reach towards Brasilia. That's it. And iQOO OGxTSG from a far off angle, they've already spotted VASIYO Esports. And as long as they can take some long-range shots and annoy the opponents and make them utilize all of their medkits, that's one big W for them.
Alright, as now, the only W I'm hoping for is them surviving and getting placement points. It's still 12 teams surviving. None of them being kicked out here in Purgatory. No team suffering an early elimination. Everybody has been keeping up at it. However, NAAZ is one of the team who has only one last player, one individual standing, and therefore would have to look forward for a revive, which is going to be difficult with all the other 11 teams still standing. When we talk about standing, it seems like Pahari is against somebody and trying to take them down. Elimination being confirmed quickly. ZUIPTS is the one that they got on, I guess, because I can see one player from Team Elite close by. ZUIPTS with a bolt maker right now trying to bide some time. They use the binoculars, but they do not get any information. However, still one of their players in search moves away.
Oh, Aditya, he's just getting amped up. He's getting ready. A bit too antsy move, as I could say. And but those shots of Aditya, they've connected. He can go for more. He can go for 1v2. HP low of Spark, and those shots are going to connect. Spark not allowing this one member to run rampant and get all of the members of NEBULA Esports. But Rudra on the other end just trying to keep that aggression game on point, even though their members are falling down. Spark just putting up a notch, and there you go, with a blink of an eye, he just takes down the entire team, all thanks to even Tiger from afar. This is the tag teaming that we usually see about a sniper and a rusher, and both of them are working in tandem.
Ooh. And there it is again, Pahari on the other end. You spoke about the sniper. This man is known for his deadly sniping. Piccolo also helping him out. Confirmation, one for Pahari, one for Piccolo, and one for Cropsy. ZUIPTS full in deep troubles. One after another, they get picked off here in Crossroads. But Team Elite, they have to regroup quickly. Right behind them, they have another enemy. That's going to be RNX. And right ahead is also going to be NAAZ, but we spoke about NAAZ already. Do not have numbers, but Adib, he gets hit by the AC-80 from Kohli, and now instantly rushing is going to be Cropsy, making sure that there is no runaway. RNX, who wanted to think that they had an opportunity, just get caught by Team Elite, and now they're disappearing in two different directions.
That's right, two different directions. More possibility of them to survive as Hassan, he's heading directly inside the circle. This can be problematic. Shots been fired on him as well as Narikutum. They're keeping eyes on where the opponents are. For example, Team Elite. And in the crossfire, if you're going to be caught, then it's going to be a problem. But on the other end, that's going to be a very nice revival coming in, as well as Shoko. He found a very nice safe house. It's outside the circle, but it can make do for now. As Marble work, it's in complete attention.
But attention coming in from Team Elite was on the players who were around the edges of Crossroads, and they find the last player. That was Agent from NAAZ Esports, and that is the end for NAAZ. NKG, they do not want to have an end. They've just made it up the edge of the riverbed, and right in front of them is going to be Assassin's Army, but they also know that they are in trouble if they do not manage to make it across, because right behind them there could be more teams making a jump, and that's what they're checking. And a little far off we saw a vehicle moving, but Team Elite, they're the ones who are moving in the distance, picking off players from VASIYO Esports. Trying his best. Valiant dash against Cropsy works, with Shubo putting him down with the M590. Kohli wants to help out, but the Bolt Maker also doing the damage. The Lightning Zone not helping as much as they would have wanted to. VASIYO Esports, they have the number and the HP advantage. Kohli using the quick med heat and the inhaler, trying to make sure that he's ready for a fight next time, and it does work out with Pahadi's assistance, but Pahadi is a little too far away. Piccolo, I don't think he's anywhere close by, because he's gone in for a revive using the vending machine, and Piccolo has got the revive of the whole squad back again. And on the other end, Pahadi will still have the responsibility of holding off VASIYO Esports.
Yeah, fending off the walls, VASIYO Esports. They're working in tandem. I do not know what's happening here. Cropsy, whenever he's going for a rush, Kohli is not at all there for the aid. And I believe that is the biggest problem that this team is facing. And as long as that's happening, things are just going to not shape up to be perfect for this squad. And on the other end, there are some heavy suppression on this very team. Right now, just clustered in the corner. And wait a second, Piccolo, is he going to rush straight in? Well, there was a knock which was initiated by the likes of Pahadi. And well, it's a full send. This is redemption time. And I don't think so. In this redemption, VASIYO is going to get the time to breathe, as they have been pummeled down to complete the demise and the elimination in this following map. 12 eliminations strong is what Team Elite is currently looking at. And this is great coming in from their end.
When the heat hits, the teams shine in. They show their true colors and become the diamonds that they want to. And what a game coming in from Team Elite. They were just about to suffer a full team wipe, and Piccolo saved them. Was the grace in disguise. And with that, instantly they pummel VASIYO Esports with a re-challenge. They had the mini launch pad. They could have used it and made a run, but they decided to stay back and fight. But also, Pahadi was making sure they stuck down with bullets as nails. And right now, they will try to cross over themselves. We have to wait and watch if that happens. As RNX, we watch their elimination coming in from iQOO OGxTSG. They find the last member, and Team Elite on the other end, they make it across as well.
They did not find a solid footing at all. Wherever they went, it was quicksand. So yeah, at one point of time, you're bound to be just engulfed by it. Assassin's Army, right now playing it very slow. I have never seen them have just 3 eliminations when there's only 7 squads remain in such a tight circle. This is some different gameplay coming in from there. And as long as they can survive and they can hide inside this very RV, it's going to be good for them. But they need some really good shots. They have to fend off the wolves as they're slowly coming close. Narikutum alongside Team Elite, both of them on different ends. And there is even a hit list onto Narikutum.
Narikutum, NKG Esports, they've been just on the tower for far too long. The zone is closing in and the circle will move away. They better be prepared for it. Assassin's Army, they've been preparing inside the scamper, but for how long? The RV will be in trouble. There is Nebula right next to them. Rakers on the other end. They're picking up players from FX Elite, one after another, racking up eliminations. Helping them out was Assassin's Army as well, as Bolt gets picked off. And also iQOO OGxTSG. What happened? In the blink of an eye, even FX Elite, their players get picked off. one after another. This circle, as it has shifted a lot of teams outside of Purgatory.
Yeah, Purgatory just purges the opponents, purges the teams who plan about a late rotation. And in the air, Arjun was the last member standing. He just could not do much there. And here's the time where Team Elite, well, they have already made a very nice giant Jenga right here with the glue walls. And they're very close to taking a fight against this very team called Nadikutum. There you go. No defenses for you, says this team, even though they're trying to jump down, head towards safety. But I don't think so. It's going to be that easy, as those melters are going to come through. Nate's been thrown at them, and Kohli just heavy suppressing fire, leaving Script the last member standing. Script for the Tokyo trip, and unfortunately even he's going to be bitten down to dust. Where's he heading towards though? To safety? Well, it's not going to be seen in this tight circle.
Mistake. He tried to drive away, but he drove right towards Team Elite, picked off, and now down to the top 4 teams. Team Elite have made it to the last and final fight. Nebula right in front of them with Assassin's Army and Rackers as well. All 4 teams with 4 members standing. This is a brilliant Purgatory fight. Kohli being taken down by the M82B on Tanesh, but can it be a confirmation? Glue wall being used, Kohli will be picked up, but again the M82B. Tanesh finds double on Team Elite as Piccolo also gets taken down, and Rackers are moving in. They're closing the distance. Cropsy get picked off. That's Ash helping out, and it's down to the last player, Pahari. He has to come in clutch. 14 eliminations, 4 of his own, but he's the last member, surrounded by glue walls, surrounded by Rackers, and will be finally put to the dust by Anshu Jr. And it comes down to right now a big game. Even Assassin's Army were trying to pull off, but 2 of their members down as Nebula have closed the gap.
It doesn't matter. They have a very nice solution to it. Instant Thiva, revival coming through. 5 members still alive, but Hemu, he's falling down. Patlu, those nades are counting in, and it's just outsmarting the opponents. Wild Fox, constant heavy suppression, and Assassin's Army inside this very RV that they thought that they can call their own home. It is not going to be possible, as Patlu, he tag teams with himself just to take down the entire team apart. It's Rackers versus Nebula Esports, ladies and gentlemen, and this 4v4 fight, it's going to take some time.
It is crucial for Rackers to pick up points. They want to make sure they jump from the bottom to the top. And the best team to fight against is going to be Nebula. And Kid finds the opening with a charge buster. Time turner being used. Shobit finding the second spark. And Patlor also down. It's down to the last member, Tiger. He's trying his best, but it's going to be Kid coming in with his own SVD shot. And an end to Nebula's run with Rakers picking up a big booyah. And what a game from Rackers. How they held, how they fought, and how now they've converted a game.
Oh my god, Rackers Esports. Well, that was a lovely performance. From the word go till the very end, 4 members strong, not giving 2 cents on what's happening in the map. Just constantly heavy suppressing fire, and that just helped them overall build the reputation and get the elimination as well. Look at the sigh of relief Tanesh is taking, the sniper of the team, just constant shots on the team of Team Elite, suppressing them, and then later on oppressing all the matters that were at hand. They did not care about who was there towards the smack center of the circle. It's okay, that's not our problem, as Nebula was doing the heavy lifting there, taking down assassins, and at the very end, the way they had just made things clear that this booyah is ours, this is the way how they did it. Even though those shots were coming through, that nade just kept the entire team afloat. And Nebula, well, good conversions from their end as well.
I have to give kudos to how Rackers kept themselves right at this RV. While Nebula was throwing nades, they were still able to dodge the bullets. But look at this celebration. A cute friend also that came to celebrate, as you can see on the camera of Anshu Jr. to congratulate that booyah. And this is just brilliant. I think this is just a picture perfect end in game number 3 that we got from these underdogs. I can clearly tell that. Because you could see the hunger. Tanesh picking off eliminations or knocks on the side of Team Elite, and instantly that command that Rackers moved right to Team Elite, knowing that the players are dropping one after another, and then moving to a fight with Nebula and Assassin's Army both being in the mix, and them staying a little away and close by and still making it work. And in the final one, not giving Nebula a chance. They were rushing to them, as a team, not as individuals. And that is the reason
Exactly.
Anshu Jr. also becoming the MVP. 7 eliminations, 2,973 damage, 5 assists, and has a Beastion as a pet. And he was a beast himself.
Well, beast on. Oh, the nades. No wonder they've been lobbed so far. Max 7 up close and personal is the loveliest weapon that you can ever equip, even M590 for the matter. And the way he was just instantly rezzing his fallen comrades, his fallen team members, his buddies with the Tiva was just spectacular. Skylar just to help the sniper. Additionally, as Tanesh, he was landing those shots with the M82B onto Team Elite, and then later on it was against even Tiger as well. Tiger from a far off angle for a 1v4. Imagine if he had clutched, it would have been a clutch of his life. But again, those blue walls, they had to be instantly deployed. And at the very corner, we know a couple of rushers coming in from this very team of Rackers who just ended his life. And that's what happened till the very end. So lovely performances coming through. And I just love the way the celebrations were also put in place.
Big game, and yes, and indeed memorable celebration that we ended up seeing. With that, let's take a look at the game standings of what has been done by Rackers. 29 in total points with the 17 eliminations we already saw. And this is, yes, a big game for them, which will help them make a jump from the bottom. They were sitting at the 11th position. We'll also look at the today's standing very soon. But Team Elite fans, you can be happy about it. Finally, a good game being converted. Unfortunate again. Elimination which they were not ready for. It came down to Pahadi, but there was just too many numbers from the side of Rackers Esports. Nebula, this is one of the games, if you'd want to call it, so far has not been closer to their 22 or 23 plus, just at 21. If you want to call that a weak game, maybe, but I still don't think so. iQOO, OGxTSG almost looked like they had also picked up pace like Team Elite, but when it came down to the circle moving away from the mainland, that is where troubles shook. And that happened for NKG. As you can see, they just have 10 total points because they stuck to that watchtower for far too long.
Yeah, that's how the problem arrives right at the door, and you just cannot do anything. The watchtower, well, it was a problem for them. And moving forward, these 5 teams, the way they've already tracked the entire map from Moathouse all the way towards Firebridge, what's going on? Rackers, they were for sure trying to see what's happening in each and every corner, trying to get those 1 or 2 points here and there, and later on they just understood the assignment. Let's just keep it clean. Let's just head towards the circle. Look at that majority chunk on their name. Marble Works was completely contested by so many teams, and still Rackers were like, well, it's okay. As far as we can reach towards the circle, that's going to be the best bet for them. And well, they made it through, surviving with all 4 members on their name. That's the kind of performance that we could see. Just one circle where we could see an absolute radio silence, which is circle number 3. And post that, it was straight up numbers.
It is not because of them not fighting with anybody, but by the time they moved from the southern edges of Purgatory
there was no one
towards Marble Works, there was no teams to fight with, and that is the reason they were just moving uphill, trying to figure out where the other players or the teams were to take them down. And with that, let's take a look at the today's standings and look at this big whooping jump. This is why I said they were sitting at around like 15, 18 points or something. I'm not too sure exactly. Somewhere around that, like close to 20 is what they were. And with 29 points that they've gotten, they've instantly jumped up to 50 and instantly take the second spot. And this is how the halfway game starts off for teams. It can instantly bump you or jump you out of the top 6. And for the time being, it is going to be RNX who get jumped out, and even NAAZ who miss out from the top 6 for the time being.
Exactly, man. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that's what happens. Like, usually whenever you make a mistake that brutal, then you're going to be punished tenfold. So might as well be ready for that. And we have an audience ask, how do you look at the TSG's performance after points addition to the team? Okay. Ronit's addition to the team. Will they make it to the finals? Well, that's the question I believe even we are asking right now, Lucifer. Like, will they reach or not? Ronit's addition, yes, it has helped them overall. We did see them perform in the group stages. It was done so well. But moving in towards the second week, I have no clue what just happened there.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, no clue of what's happening here. It should, I don't know, work for them, because we remember, right, Ronit, the wonderful duo of Ota and Sohan that he was commanding earlier, it worked out really well during that time. And now that he made it to this direction, we thought, hey, it should still work out even better. And as you mentioned, right, in the group B that they were in, they performed to the top. They had 136 points. They qualified in week 1 as the best team from their group. But today, they're barely able to get some points, and that is worrying me, Ozora.
Absolutely, man. Even I'm shivering right now. I'm shaking. For all the fans out there who are supporting them, support them more, because they require it right about now. No hits given to them. The way they're performing, yes, I do understand they're being caught here and there, but I believe there's going to be a sweet comeback from their end. This is just the first 3 maps that we saw. More 3 awaits. Do not go anywhere as we take a short little break, and this is going to be even more crazy onto how well the teams are going to perform, and well, whether it's going to be worth it or not at the end of the day. Till then, take care and be right back.
It's been a roller coaster ride for all the T1 teams out there because the underdogs are stepping up to the occasion. This is the story of Group C. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to TEZ Free Fire Max India Cup 2026 fall, as we are on the last day of the week 2 of the group stages. With me on the desk is going to be a new face altogether. He is the man himself, the god of fresh waters. It's Neptune, and myself, Arka, will try our best to make sure that we leave no stones unturned. But Neptune, straight up to you, my friend. What do you feel? What are your expectations for the day?
I'm really excited right now. First time in FFMIC, I'm really looking forward to more of the engagement because so far for first three matches we've seen, there's a love, as you mentioned, roller coaster ride for some of the teams, and one of those is Esports. The way they moved from 11th to 2nd was just phenomenal. But I do agree with what Lou mentioned earlier, wherein there's the gap between the teams are not that high, thus the movement can be quick. So I'm expecting a lot more those kind of movements for remaining three maps that we have for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, if one team can perform so well in a single game and then take such a huge leap, I do believe the other teams can also do the same, but they'll have to do it as quickly as possible. With 3 games up in front of them, they'll have to do it either in the first or the second one, because the final one is just going to be scrutinizing. The pressure is going to start building up from the get-go, and they'll have to make sure that they survive until the end, no matter how many eliminations they've got.
Yeah, I do agree, and you did mention about pressure, and I'm eyeing at Esports right now because so far they have gone past through the top 6, and that's called for most of the teams who want to go into the knockout stage. But at this point, I think our next will need to go back to the usual way, looking at the previous season as well as how they played on the first week of the group stage. I think they are slowing down a little bit. Again, they might be able to catch up. The ones above them is FX Elite as VASIYO, but from some of the movements from teams, one thing that has caught my eye, NEBULA East 100% on top 3, and even at the last game, they didn't brought out a lot of elimination. I guess it's more of finding the final circle that would make them secure their spot house stage.
Absolutely right. It's about being consistent. It's not about how many eliminations you can pick up initially and not end up having a good time in the end. Nonetheless, I'm kind of, worried for 2 teams out there. Before I take up their name, let's look at our predictions, as I've got Orangutan, Assassin Army and NKG from my side, and you have a similar thought, but it's just that you go to the other fan favorite teams of Nebula and Team Elite, where Assassin remains the same. For myself, OG, because I know that now is the time they're going to bounce back. They've been the strongest in the second half of the day, and I'm hoping to see them replicate what they've done before.
I do have like OGxTSG in there on my prediction, but it seems like NEBULA Esports much deserves that because of how well they did manage to find the final circle. So I'm really looking forward to teams are going to adjust it. I'm always looking for those teams who will go against my predictions. But speaking of going against, hopefully the teams will be going against the grain right now, because the drop spot is looking really chaotic right now. Imagine 3 teams jump in Refinery, and I think Rackers, with how they played it out in previous game, they will be away from this because they want to maintain the spot and not being taken out early, because going for the hot drops just like is even 50-50 is 33% that they might be losing.
I think that's a wise decision for them to do, but let's wait whether they'll be able to follow what you've just told. But again, the Council Hall region, that is where I'm more concerned. You've got W Squad, you've got Narikutam, you have got Nebula. All these 3 teams, right, who have been doing decently well for themselves, going for an early clash and losing their players. That's the last thing they would want, to lose the momentum. But again, the 2 names I was trying to pick up previously was Team Elite as well as OG, because these are the only 2 teams who have still got a single digit when it comes to their placement points. Not at all bothered about the late games. They're just looking out for eliminations, and hopefully we'll see them, get back to their senses.
Yeah, for Team Elite, like week 1 they are currently second place. If you thinking those now against those kind of numbers, and they're very close against OGTSG. Only friends based on the number of points that they gathered, and we've seen the growth of them from game 1 up until game number 3. For OGxTSG, the reason why it took them out is didn't see that much information, right? So let's see if they'll be able to make that work around.
Yeah, hopefully. But again, there are several other teams who did show us some glimpse of being exceptional when it comes to their firepower. Let's not forget that Team Elite is one themselves, because they've got 31 eliminations so far for 8 points itself. But there is another team I'm kind of impressed with. That's going to be VASIYO. They've got 25 eliminations for 16 position points. They've got that capability of also pulling off a booyah, and I'm looking forward to see them also make a proper comeback, because their teams, they're expecting a lot from them because they deserve being in the top 2.
Well, let's see now. In VASIYO Esports, when I look at the historical of the map, it seems like they are very, very low in terms of numbers. Only, I believe it's only 6 points from time in Kalahari. So that is not looking good historically. But again, there's already a few of adjustment that can be done by the team. So hopefully VASIYO will be able to make that change, as well as final circle before they will be able to find or probably look for because that would be more crucial to get placement first and make sure that it doesn't have that much of contention, especially on the hot drops.
Yeah, absolutely. But ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're going to be jumping into the map of Kalahari, where the deserty island is just going to take the temperature top notch. And the snipers will have to step up and showcase their paradise in the making. The flight path starting all the way from Mammoth, ending towards the Council Hall region, dissecting the map to a perfect 2 split. I just love this. And I hope to see all the teams out there take advantage of this, because the early skirmish, it seems like it's taking place towards the Stone Ridge region and the southern side of Refinery.
And hopefully they can find a revival in a bit. Our next asking for, and there's so
but as you speak about RNX, I'm also starting to look a little bit towards W Squad, because they're looking much more promising in this initial fight. They've got 3 eliminations. They're leading the LM leaders. And I do believe, since there was no Narikutam anywhere close by, it becomes a little bit easy for them to go ahead. Speak about Narikutam, thanks to the map feed I've got for now, they've headed to a very wrong direction, and hopefully they don't get eradicated from there. But to the center of the map, RNX, as you said, they're having a ball of a time. The W Squad, they're on a chase for now, for the last player. And there it is, NKG versus Team Elite, something which is bound to take place. As Team Elite, they're trying the best. I see Piccolo, he's been the closest point of contact, but his teammates in the minimap, I see them spreading their wings, trying to come in from different directions so that they can make a possible opening for his teammates to rush in. But NKG, they're taking advantage of the topography, trying to get away from that position so that it becomes easier. But Piccolo at this time goes incognito on a very, very clever move, if you ask me. Cropsy is going to keep them at bay. He's going to keep them a little bit away, but he did not expect Money to come in closer. But a good comeback and a good retaliation from that of Team Elite. Money in trouble. Pahadi doesn't miss much. If you stand in the open, he lands those shots between the skull, and it turns out to be a 2v2. And this is how powerful NKG is turning out to be. From a disadvantageous situation, they take the best of the fights to make it even Steven. As Pahadi, the sniper, he looks up to the sky. He knows that now the revivals are going to come through. And it's important for him to, take them out as quickly as possible. Luckily, his teammate who falls back, Kohli, he says, Pahadi, probably come back, man. I don't think so. I've had any kind of angle against you. Oh, Money is in trouble. Money comes out in the open, makes the biggest mistake. Is he landing safely? Because there is another squad out there. W Squad. And Spark will look forward to, come in and dominate. As Team Elite, they bring down another player. This could be the start of a problematic situation for the whole team, as Kohli, he gets taken down and finished off. Pahadi, he's been dealt with a lot of damage because of the Bolt Maker. As he gets another confirmation on W Squad, which has come in a little late. He still waits for his teammates to do something unique. Oh, look at that. It's the rest of his squad trying to do his best. And Pahadi is trying to do his best as he tries to take some shots against Aditya. It's important for him to, somehow survive. Nope, that's not going to be the case. W Squad, they have no issues taking on the weakling as 4 of them pounce against him. The solo man gets taken down. And that's 6 early eliminations for that of W Squad. And a very, very good start, if you ask me, for a map of Kalahari. Whereas on the other side, we got NAAZ all losing players as they're getting closer to NKG. Yet again, NKG, they get involved into another fight, and hopefully they'll be able to, probably pull off the best of what they can. But no, that's not the case. A jump shot from Saida puts the end of NKG as they get out with just 2 points in this game. A bit of a disappointing performance, but I do believe it's because of one wrong rotation they took away from that of Council Hall. An Assassin Army. Also one of those teams I'm trying to see. TSG trying to do their best. They put up a drone and they're trying to do their best to get information as Rakers, who are looking more than promising, because in the previous game they've got that booyah. Now they're looking to dominate against Krish. With a P90, gets in closer, shots being connected, but immediately he changes position, trying to buy some time as he clears off players on the other side. I see him, that his teammate, giving the right kind of backup again. It's a good synergy coming in from the side of OGs, but this is how the cookie crumbled. W Squad rushing in, and then Assassin Army, all 3 players, especially Sabo with the Trogan doing exceptional, as well as Hassan, who got such good game. RNX, they're trying to do the best 6 eliminations is what they've got so far. Hassan is doing best, but Shoko, he gets tagged off from a distance.
That's right, the shots. I believe they need to evacuate from here, all the way heading towards... Oh, no. VASIYO is right behind. And the moment they understand that, they're like, instantly, let's just run away from here, because those shots, they definitely are going to count right there. Binoculars utilize a lot of information given they're an FX elite. They're having their battles of their own. It's very close to VASIYO Esports.
VASIYO, on the other side, they're having a good run, if you ask me, because they're getting some early eliminations. They've got 3 already, and they're trying to take fights, but Assassin Army Sabo, every corner is gone so far. He's only picked up eliminations, and the number speaks for itself. He's got 4 already, and he can already move in towards another team as he's got that information, and Assassin Army doing very good for themselves.
That's right, man. The foundation, it needs to be really good. Oh, Sapo stopped on his tracks. Lovely shots coming in. Benz. Well, he definitely knows how to hit his shots with the Car 98K. And on the other end, there's even Rackers Shobit. He's been chased by the end of the world. Volt right on top. And Volt, I believe they're all here just to get 1 elimination point. And that distraction is just helping a lot in general. Ash trying his level best, but I believe he might get bested down to his demise. But Ash, what a lovely retaliation that Swag 7 comes to aid.
Both of them had run out of their active skill, and due to which they had to just tickle around. But ultimately, Ash goes in at the right time for a backup. Will be able to revive Heimo. And 12 eliminations, but Heimo yet again gets taken down. And this time we'll have to see whether Ash will be able to pull off a 1v3 as he cleverly traverses around to the nearest vending machine, because his priority is first to bring back his teammate.
Oh yeah, the priorities, they never change. And Ash is the second time he's left to 1 single tick of his HP, and he just clutches yet another battle. Wow! And that's the kind of performance we usually love to see coming in from his end. Assassin's Army, 13 eliminations strong, right now running rampant in the map of Kalahari.
VASIYO on the other side, this time the grenade launcher. It's not in the hands of TG, because of which it's costing heavily for them as Shubo lands 1. Arup is trying to come in from the back lines as Shubo puts so many players down. OG are in deep trouble as the last man standing. He's just gonna tuck his tail and run away from this position. And hopefully, RNX, who came into third party over here, doesn't be on the receiving end of things. Adib, his location compromised. Look at how dangerous Shubo is. He's just running behind him as Adib is trying to run away from this position. From different directions, they converge as a single lad. But still, Adib, clever enough to run away from this position.
That's right, man. Arka, I'm just loving the enthusiasm coming in from all the teams. They're fighting for survival. They're fighting to reach towards the top 6. And this is the kind of competition we were loving to look towards. And Kalahari just giving us all the colors that we usually love about. You know, on the other end, VASIYO, they have a very good start, and all they are looking for is conversion. Agent right in front. And those shots from Zap, they do want to break down the glue wall just to see what's happening there, but it's just a tickle coming right across. NEBULA Esports on the other end, finally, they have their eyes on the prize, which is Assassin's Army. They were so far running rampant, and now Sabo being the last man standing in this very corner. Spark, I believe he is outright there to outsmart him and get the elimination point, regardless of where the other members are.
But Tiger holding that vantage point, what a good move. He made sure that he realized information until the very end. But another disappointment. OGxTSG, they get taken down at just 4 points, and this is turning out to be a disappointment for me. And I keep my fingers crossed as I say this. I just hope that they do not get out of this tournament in this phase of the tournament itself. Nonetheless, you know, there are teams who are doing well for themselves, especially at the top of the table. Rakers, yet again, they've got early 9 eliminations and they're looking more than promising.
Oh, you require a lot of lemon and chilies just to change your fate. iQOO, OGxTSG, well, this is too quick for them to part ways, even though this is one of the maps where they love to go ahead and snipe, specifically Arjun. So those mistakes are going to cost a lot. Spark, slicing and dicing. Well, he thinks that he can outsmart where the opponent is, but he's going to get jumped by a couple of players. And ZUIPTS finally unleashing themselves and getting those elimination points.
Assassin Army, they get eliminated after an iconic run of 14 eliminations. I know it's a valiant effort coming in from their side. They should have done much more better, had more position points, because their position right now in the overall standing not looking so promising. But Team Elite, you know, this is the team which is starting to pick up more hopes from my side, as they've got 6 eliminations. Ozoro, thank you so much as we bring back Neptune into this game. Assassin Army gone, OGxTSG gone, NKG gone. What do you have to say about these 3 teams' early exit?
Well, so far, what I have to say is apologies for everything, and also thank for jumping in and stepping in for my regards. But anyways, I'm really loving how the teams are getting so much. I was looking at NEBULA Esports on how well they are getting their placement as well as elimination this time around. But for Team Elite, are surviving quite well at this point. But Bahati right now is taking point to make sure that he have a clear view of where F will be coming from, FX Elite. So I guess this is a good position for them right now to ensure that they can climb up the ranks. But going into the other side, RNX against AZ, and ADC has been failing so much on those gunfights, but this time RNX, this is not a performance.
Yeah, but I did see them have a good run so far, and the last player standing has still got a great opportunity to get to the nearest vending machine. Nonetheless, we see that VASIYO is also coming to third party over here, and that could be a sigh of relief for RNX if Shoko can get away from this position and look forward for revival. Sadly, both the vending machine as well as the recoil tower is completely in control of VASIYO Esports, and that's one of the reasons why he's unable to move an inch from that position.
Well, I guess it's a good spot for VASIYO Esports, and it's good as well to secure a lot of elimination at this point, because anyone who comes in that, and look at the AWM being used by Zap, and we've seen how well Zap did utilize that earlier. Have information on NZ, they might be able to climb that right now, but the W squad unfortunately got eliminated, and we only have 8 teams remaining at this point. At the end of 4th, going to the 5th phase of the circle, which is not looking good. What I really love, and it is looking good, is Rackers, who is our elimination leader at this point. They have good cover, threatened for the moment.
VASIYO Esports having the time of their life. Look at the amount of eliminations they're able to pick up because they've got the best spot in Foundation, both high grounds as well as a little bit of a low ground just in case they want to traverse around this topography. Nonetheless, as ZUIPTS, as they try to make it towards this vicinity, I do believe they're still in the air as they recently got revived, and at times VASIYO will have to look up to the sky, or else they might welcome some uninvited guests, as NEBULA They stick themselves to a hard cover behind that rock below the ridge. This could be one of those teams who can survive until the end.
Well, let's see if they can survive at this point. TEZ 5-notch in a threat earlier of being taken out, and this is a good spot to take for the moment. From those ice grenades being thrown at them, they might be in trouble if getting ganged up, and those mofos on the other squads, definitely they have been, or the information has been relayed already. They're trying to go for that boost, so have a motivation to take those shots, but I think there's no need for them to move all. They might be able to make the rotation once the Shriek finish.
Absolutely, VASIYO yet again making sure they get into the circle in the best way possible. RNX, the final player, eventually gets to the nearest vending machine, and look at that. When is he going to revive his teammates is the bigger question, but something even more bigger than that is, does he have enough coins to do so? As Nebula, they try to make it to the vicinity of VASIYO. This could be a fight to the finish as Tiger jumps over to get an off angle. It's Shobo who's keeping a very keen eye on him.
Let's see if Shobo definitely can spot him from above. Will really take a shot at that, and VASIYO is in vision. But from what we've seen, we are looking at a DZ who's very close. Good thing the glue has been stacked up, but unfortunately doesn't have so much of that space, so they need to either wait for it to break or break it down themselves. But no, they might be in the stairs right now, so at least they can take out one of the players of those above them, but it will be difficult as VASIYO is just moving in and out, nowhere to go, and the shrink is about to happen in a few seconds.
Team Elite, they've got a very good position inside the circle, as the circle is going to move away towards their position. Now they take that opportunity, but Nebula, they pounce upon them as Swaroop, doing everything possible, puts down 2 players, but VASIYO, they're trying to do their best. Yonu gets taken down, but Zap finally has to be taken down because it's ZUIPTS who come into third party that situation, giving Nebula a very small breathing space, and they're all stuck behind the glue wall, where they might be the next team to get eliminated.
Well, only one remains, and unfortunately, Nebula will be breaking that streak of top 3. Fortunately, they were eliminated in the 4th spot. Now, Rackers did manage to get a booyah earlier. Only 2 players remain, and Team Elite, definitely an elite squad right now, and this is where they are moving up. They are showing a lot of, and a booyah can lead them on a higher position on this groupings, and I'm really looking forward to more, especially it's only the 4th.
Absolutely, Pahadi, the IGL, taking this role and showing us that yes, he is capable of leading the squad with all that experience, under his wings. He's just making sure that the youngsters are placed right. In this game, there was very less aggression and more of making sure that they have the circle under their control, and everything has fallen in place.
Yeah, similar to what we've seen right here, or earlier from Rackers Esports. Team Elite is very low in the leaderboard in a bit, or earlier, but now, as they are that booyah, as well as a decent amount of elimination, they will be moving up elite. Let's take a look at the final battle, the last shot of this match, and you saw this flurry of players in there, but Team Elite right now is getting in contention. So let's see if this is something that they can repeat. Remaining 2 match, otherwise it would be difficult to tell if Team Elite can continue. But Pahadi right here being the MVP, 5 elimination and 3,000 on the damage.
You lead by example and not by force, and this is what Pahadi has done over here. He's been the MVP of the squad as the team looks for a very healthy booyah in this one. They've got 3,326 damage so far with 2 assists. The tactical market came into play when required, but the VSK until the end. The Skylar's Riptide Rhythm, I did not see it, being used as much, but I do believe all thanks to VASIYO Esports, they were grazing the farm, which helped out Team Elite to walk that empty patch.
Yeah, I mean, so far that Riptide Rhythm definitely will be useful if they have an opening, because from what we've seen in the position, it's very restricted with walls. But it's a good thing that they are playing with a double sniper setup, a Skylar as well as a Morse on this other side for side of Piccolo, and that makes them even more deadlier, especially in the like Kalahari. But Coley as well as Cropsy did manage to support them a little bit in this fight, so I'm really happy to see them move up at this point.
Yeah, rightfully so. I believe that they're going to move up at least by 3 to 4 points, and that's going to be more than enough for them. If they cross the 60 pointer in any way, it's going to help them, look forward for consistency, have around 10 to 15 points in the rest of the games, and then eventually qualify. But the game standings for this game is going to be Team Elite at the very tippity top with 22 points. But look at the numbers being repeated as ZUIPTS. They were more aggressive in this lobby with 14 eliminations, add up the 8 placement points, and they get 22 for themselves. Rakers, another phenomenal performance coming in from their side. They get another 22 points.
It's a thing that they were continuing, or Rakers was continuing on with their performance, but unfortunately they didn't catch up to Nebula Esports. So let's see if this is something that they can continue right now.
Assassin Army completely relying on their firepower, get 14 points in eliminations, and that's pretty impressive. And hopefully they'll be able to cloak up what Team Elite have won in this game, so that it becomes easier for them to also walk away with the booyah and strengthen their position into the top 6, because slowly and steadily all the teams who are looking forward to qualify are almost doing the right job, and they're cementing themselves already. When we look at the circle analysis, we see that Team Elite, this is one of those teams who had such good rotations. From confinement, again, they went into the northern side. From there, they had to make sure that they come to the, eastern side of Bayfront, or rather the western side. And from there on, they had such a good hold of the circle. All they had to do, just hold on to that position with Piccolo on the split, giving information. And then eventually everybody walked into their crosshairs.
Definitely. No one will be walking across there, especially with how they are positioned. And Team Lead is one of those who were stuck in there despite of the risk of being taken down. There's just a lot of things that happened in there before they got positioned. So I'm really looking forward to those better strategies, more strategies coming from them. But again, despite of them losing the streak, out of the 4 maps that they played, only 3 they end up on the top 3. It was very close. They were 4th place at final map in Kalahari, but still, they are on top of the board. And this is where consistency comes in. Where finding that final circle will bring you, and they are still a number 1.
Absolutely, but for all those fans who are kind of worried for OGxTSG, all they need is 1 game of booyah, and they're going to climb up the ladder at least 6 points, because 20 points is something which is a bare minimum any team can walk away when they have that booyah. Nonetheless, Assassin Army, they climbed 3 positions for that phenomenal performance. We see that FX Elite have dropped down. As ZUIPTS, they're not on the bottom of the table anymore. Nonetheless, I see that NKG, VASIYO Esports, both of them exchanging positions, with Team Elite also climbing up the ladder. We can expect some more drama to take place in some time now.
Hell, let's see the expected out of these teams right here, but so far the lead is very close between all of the teams. I'm looking at 13, some of which, especially for Team W Squad as well as VASIYO Esports, only 2 point difference from those who are below and above them. So there's a lot of changes, a lot of shuffle that might be happening later on, and I'm really looking forward to how that is going to end up here. Especially we're looking at our next map. The next map would be in Nextera. And Nextera equals a lot of elimination. Some of the teams capitalize on this specific map on how they can gather so much wins, but it's seldom seen for most of the squad right here. So hopefully they can do what Nebula Esports doing. Just make sure that you find a final circle, get a better rotation, and we might see you getting that booyah.
Now, Assassin's Army, the one thing which I love about this team, how they put a stepping stone in the previous game. especially in Kalahari. They had 14 eliminations and they were completely aggressive. And I was wondering as to why they're trying to do so. And I do believe it's got to do with the upcoming map. They know that, you know, they can pick up more eliminations in the upcoming map. So that's why prepare yourself for the better future. Nonetheless, when we look at our predictions, I know, you know, VASIYO will be the only team who have been so consistent so far and already picked up the pace to do better in the upcoming game. I'm going with NAAZ and W Squad because they are the Wounded Lions. They've done decently so far, but yes, they are the Wounded Lions.
Yeah, well, let's see though if they wounds would be healed. I'm going for OGxTSG right now because again, from week 1, they have performed so well. In Xterra, they're one of the teams out of everyone in this group C who has garnered a booyah. And let's see though if this is something that they'll continue on. Judging from their location or where they will be dropped in this map, there's a lot of contention in mud site, but also potential target that can give them more of those elimination. One that is really free or probably can be targeted by a lot of teams, Team Elite, because in Farmtopia they're going solo. So if someone decides to go and go against them, then they might be trouble in early parts.
Now, by the looks of it, because everybody are already under pressure, I don't think so anybody will be interested for an early skirmish, at least for the teams at the bottom of the table. Yes, for the teams on the top of the table who are looking forward for some early good start, probably they'll look forward for eliminations, and that's where things can be interesting. But this is where I bring in the audience into play. They've been phenomenal with their predictions in the recent past, and I hope to see them come up with newer predictions for the upcoming game. Let us know in the map of NextEra which among these teams is going to walk away with a booyah and who is going to make it across into the top 6, as there are some fan favorite teams who might end up leaving disappointments.
Well, let's see though. I mean, there's a lot of disappointment that has been already from beginning of this day. And there's only a few who's really keeping true, especially for those who are being cheered on by the fans. And one of those before jump was the W Squad. So W Squad is currently in the 4th place. They are very close, as I mentioned earlier, very close to VASIYO, very close to Team Elite. They still need to hustle. They don't need to be complacent, despite of how easy they might be able to move up to the it's difficult to say that they can catch up to Racker Esports unless Racker gets eliminated or Racker gets eliminated and Team Elite gets eliminated early, and definitely they will be up. So no one is sitting down on this one. They will be on their toes. They will be on their feet and trying their best to survive long, a lot of elimination to make sure that they can end up in top 6.
For the teams at the bottom of the table, they'll just have one formula: become the loose cannons, give the best of what you can, and only then can you put up so many points on the table that you will be able to climb up the ladder. The last 2 games in front of our screens, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, it's going to be the map of NextEra, where chaos is the answer for this map. And I do believe for the teams looking out for some chaos, they're going to be rewarded with a lot of points.
See, NextEra, the future of Free Fire is here. Game number 5 for today. And see if there's something that would break some of the teams. The drop spot coming from Rustdown heading in Turbine. Those who have set their drop spot earlier from what we've seen might be able to change. And let's see, though, if this is something that they can recover from.
The flight path, again, this is one of those flight paths which is just going to make so much more interesting. Look at that. We see OGxTSG fly down to mud site, and immediately there's a binoculars put on them. Shows that somebody is keen to come in and trying to have some fights with them. As Rakers at Deca Square are trying to do their best to loot up early so that they can take that fight with OGxTSG because they're obvious close contention. I do see that W Squad, they are involved in a kerfuffle.
Well, let's see though, they will be able to get away, probably win this fight. W Squad will need dub, and there goes PU being taken down. Amchit also being taken out, and it's not looking good. X Elite, it seems like full effects of what they've done earlier is going back. Now, W Squad don't have that much coin just yet. Also, no Fending to trigger a hit list, so they will just wait and also loot up at this point because there's still a few teams who might be eyeing at them.
Absolutely. Now, FX, because Rudra took that risky move of getting away from that position, they survive. But for Yono, I can't say the same because he's got to be pushed upon from two different directions. But he retaliates as Zap from a distance. He gives that opening. And now Yono, he's got that Bison to get in closer. He puts down another player. And this is starting to look more promising than ever for VASIYO as they get 3 eliminations already. And I do believe for any squads out there trying to challenge them, they better be careful. But the sad news is Assassin Army, they get eliminated early.
Yeah, are been assassinated at this point. There's a lot of hopes coming from this team. It is not looking good. Hopefully, they can recover, but look at that. There's a few things that might be happening at this point. If they can get away, if they can pull away from some of those early skirmishes, then probably they can survive.
No, whenever I see NAAZ on screen, it makes me feel like they have so much to provide, yet they're not having that start to have a good momentum. And hopefully, I'll be able to see them, in this game do well. Team Elite, every time I see them on the minimap, I see one lurker from that of RNX who's trying to survive or rather gain information against them. I don't know when RNX are going to pounce upon them because let me remind you, RNX are also one of the most powerful squads. Powerful in the sense they are the most powerful when it comes to firepower. Yet, they are at the 8th position in the overall standing, which is a bit concerning.
So far, RNX only 1 elimination. Definitely concerning for them if they will not be moving up. Yes, they're taking a few from what I said earlier, finding the final circle, but finally Armand and Shikshad Adib did help on elimination, and this might be a good way for our next to start it off. That's at least one of those places wherein there's a lot of elevation, but they might not have spotted NZ just yet. So if this is what they're planning, they need cautious because NAAZ Esports might be bringing them down if they're not careful.
Absolutely, I see another player of W Squad just hovering over this position. Cider, he's been as silent as possible because he knows exposing himself could be very, very dangerous as 4 of them can pounce upon them. And RNX, thanks to one player of W Squad who just landed right in front of them, that's going to keep them a little more busier, Deca Square region. But Benz, now he dares to step out of his cover and he wants to get closer to RNX, looking forward to take them on. And hopefully, they are prepared for what's going to come next.
Yeah, RNX getting close to Grab Labs. And there goes a takedown with the VSK. iQOO will be able to make that shot. The glue wall stops him from making it. And there's still a lot of job that needs to be done. OGxTSG, there's a lot of hopes for them to make it even further from where they are right now in terms of a leaderboard, but they have to do the deed right here. Those eliminations, those knockdowns is being stolen away by a different squad, are getting close, and it is looking like trouble. Even Gravity will not help them at this point. Grab Labs, so will they be able to make this move or probably just fall down, wait for our next to win so that they can utilize all those shotguns?
The irony is both these teams had qualified for the finals in the previous season, and both of them are heavy hitters and they need to survive. The more they're involved in this fight, the more time runs away from their arms. And let's not forget that losing players from this position is not going to reward them heavily. RNX and OGxTSG, for the very reason they hold on to their horses for the longest time possible.
Well, they can hold on a little bit longer. So far outside of will not be able to give them that jump that they need, but Hassan has been taken down. Arjun with a VSK and charge like hers, and there you have it. OGxTSG proving that they are the OG and only leaving with one more, but the revive on our next stays alive and they can recover pretty soon.
Shoko, the smart one, when the fight was taking place, he just went into the building, revived his teammates and just ran away from that position. He understood that this fight is just going to be a no-cost one. Ultimately, we see another set of squads clashing it out, but this time it's the 2 big bulls. And And luckily, Pahadi decides to fall back from this position. I believe is a very clever move because he knows that now they've entered the top 3 and they'll need 10 more points to cement themselves into the next round.
Well, let's see if they'll be able to do it. So far, and in this game, and we are yet to see those kind of move shots onto Colin. Might help them, but if he is planning to steal this knockdown, probably go for that machine is what you don't need to do, and that's it from downtown. But the rest of the squad though is already near the next phase of the circle, and they will need to move fast, finding the machine and revive their.
Pahadi just running away from VASIYO, who had a vague idea that he was somewhere close by. And ultimately, it becomes a little bit easier for them. But for now, we see the W squad and RNX are having a kerfuffle of their own, and TSG are being the third-party kings in that one, as RNX yet again lose 2 players. And that's not a good sign for them. As Team Elite Piccolo, he comes to the vending machine over here. He's going to be reviving his teammate without any kind of a hustle. But Cropsy, does he have an idea? The 3 players of VASIYO is right in front of them. As Shubo, the shot's been connected. Zap is the closest player, and Cropsy might be in a bit of a trouble. As Zap now he rotates around, and shots being connected. This could be a little bit problematic. NKG and Nebula on the other side taking place as Tiger repositions himself. NKG realize that they're being converged in all different directions. Now start to fall back. Money gets taken down and Nebula starts to punish NKG as they take the weaklings first. As of now, Halim has got that SKD and still he gets taken down as well. What a shot being connected on the other side. Hyper and Script are in trouble as Script is trying to buy some time. Hyper needs to get away from this position to the nearest vending machine, but Nebula are on the chase.
Yeah, I mean, Nebula definitely know what the plan is. Once a good teammate or opponent has been taken down, the next mission would be to head to that vending. Might be a distraction though, because we still have one more from NKG, who is still alive and kicking. But speaking of esports, they don't want the same mistake that happened from what the result was from Earth. They want to continue their role. They want to be on top 3, and they still want to be that number 1 by the end of the day. With not already, they are continuing at it. But the only question though is, will they find anyone on the next rotation, because the zone is closing in and time's running out. Second to is about to phase.
I somewhere feel that they've got the launches and that's why they're so confident. And I would rather not be inside the circle in a lobby like this, because I know the more fights I get involved in, the third party scenarios are bound to come, and I would rather fight the zone and heal myself up. But yes, now is the best time for them to make it inside the circle. But for now, when we look at the other side of the coin, we see that OGxTSG is yet again getting into another fight, but Krish gives that opening, making Ayush more keen to take that 1v1 battle.
Well, let's see. The shot and Iconic will be taken down with a woodpecker from Kirsch, and there you have it. Accuracy and determination coming from OGxTSG, making sure that they can catch up onto the numbers. 39 currently into this match, into this whole day, and there's still a lot of points that they need to be able to get to up 6, but they are not slowing down. And here comes the launch pad right now. No one sight just yet. Everyone's surviving, heading into the boxing gym, and let's see it go for the next round.
Oh, it seems like they're ready to rumble as they put down the last player of W squad in this vicinity. Now they've got the topography under their control. The high grounds is there. They have the view of whoever is taking the fights. And Ayush, look at him. As soon as he realizes that there's a fight taking place, he comes down, puts up a throwable just to make sure W squad gets into trouble, but that's not going to be the case as he gets shot upon from RNX from a distance. It's important for him to get away from this position, sees another player of WST, and is interested to take this fight.
Ayush is already setting up, throwing that nade, but he saw the painted rep and made him stop. But unfortunately, OGxTSG on Ayush, he has been delayed. No pickup happening, but Blue definitely ignored one players in there. And it's a good thing that he did manage to go in for the revive. But the only question though is where is this final guy getting to all his loot, because everything else is occupied.
Even I have no clue, but OGxTSG, they get eliminated after valiant effort. Another 14-pointer just by eliminations, but RNX, look at them take advantage as they were waiting for an opportunity to strike, and now they've got one, and they're going to make the best use of it. As Hassan is now holding back, Adib is taking that front seat to drive this team through eliminations. As ZUIPTS now will have to make it inside the circle, and RNX, they're gatekeeping them, and this could be a little problematic for both these teams.
Yeah, definitely keeping will be problematic at this point. What we've seen is not easy, but RNX did manage to pull away from a lot of those troubles earlier, and there is something they could have done early at this point. Pickup has been done. There's still time for move faces circle, and good on them because they're very close to more than 20 already. As 7 survivors is currently in here, but Rackers is not giving up. Their Team Elite is trying to take him down. The respond with a Riptide Rhythm, but Anshu will be shot at that easily, and he's bringing a lot of pressure on Team Elite.
Team Elite, I love the idea. It's for them to just make sure that Rakers don't come into the corner and pepper them down, but still, Anshu, he's got the grenades which is pitching right over that bus, but it's missing all the shots out there. The treatment gun doing a little bit of a healing out there, but Pahadi eventually gets knocked out, and probably Rakers, they look forward to come out here, and there is Ansh Jr. He puts down 2 players, and it could be Rakers' time to rush in over here. Cropsy trying to do his best, but eventually he gets taken down, and the whole squad is just going to crumble as Rakers bulldozer them down, and this is where the whole squad of Team Elite, they can just walk away with just few points and 5 eliminations specifically.
I'm really loving this kind of move coming from Rakers. There's just so much where they could have been taken down, but no, they have the firepower. They have the motivation. After Booyah, it seems like they are a different squad, but RNX right now is definitely different how they are moving. 17 elimination and a few more in their crosshairs, but they need to move. This bridge will not help them, and a launch pad has been laid already. Arman, let's see if they go in a better position. The glue wall is needed. No time turner plus a glue wall. How dependent can you get?
Rakers, now they set their eyes on RNX, but at the same time, that split, will it help out? Because I don't think so. RNX is just going to allow them to breathe with VASIYO. Now in a bit of a trouble. Zap, he's been tagged off, and to keep them a little bit at bay, we see more utils being used. The shots are there, and there's that opening. Zap gets taken down. No throwables, especially grenades are not being used. It's just that Hassan is busy with his woodpecker trying to take down glue walls, pressurizing VASIYO from not stepping out of that cover, but none of these shots are connecting for now.
Let's see if this can connect in a bit, especially with the zone closing in. A pickup is the Tiva definitely help, but great flank. One of the players from RNX, they are putting so much of, even the pixel doesn't leave VASIYO in position. And there you have it. VASIYO out. Tenacity from RNX is there. They are already on their 20.
And KG Halim, the last man standing, what will he do before getting taken down? There it is. He initially starts to put some damage, but the retaliation was amazing. Sadly, it was NAAZ from a distance who puts him down, giving more space for the rest of the squad to fight it out. And the fan favorite team, RNX, are now having a ball of a time. 20 eliminations so far, and now they have their eyes set on NBE. They pick up just 1 out there because NAAZ, they've been clever in reaping all the benefits of RNX.
Let's see if NAAZ can bring this to a different high. Nebula, unfortunately, type will be Valiant dashed in there, as well as taken down from that AWM. Right here's though, 10 elimination, not so much compared to what's seen, but this is something that they will need to continue because they are going against RNX, who is really aggressive. Good thing that takedown has happened, and NAAZ is putting them on their knees. M590 coming from Ryder, and they are still on the rope. And not sure what NAAZ or what NAAZ is thinking of, but whatever it is, hopefully they bring it onto the next map.
Shoko trying his best to survive, but Rakers, they don't let him breathe. With 11 eliminations, looking for another booyah. They try to do their best, but NAAZ, they step in, and they step in at the right time, because now they see Rakers are being wounded. One of the players, they get taken down, but that's not going to bother them. Eventually, the retaliation is turning out to be more than what they expected. A 2v3 situation as Rakers, they lose one player after another, but still they stand tall as they put down the complete squad of NAAZ and walk away with another booyah. These underdogs are proving us that no matter what lobby it is, if you have the right mindset, you always do the best.
Definitely a second booyah from Rakers is needed to make sure that they are high on that leaderboard. And this second booyah, they are very close. Only 5-point difference, I believe, to what NEBULA Esports has gathered. Because NEBULA Esports, though they're consistent, they're putting themselves top 5, but right there and then they don't have so much of a teammates 5 with. But look at Rakers Esports, 12 on the placement point, 15 elimination. It doesn't matter if you are late to the party, you are late in getting all of those elimination points, because if you can position yourself in a good spot, you will be gathering that similar to what we've seen Rakers.
Absolutely, but again, I wonder what happened to RNX. They changed their position from top of that building, and eventually they had no clue what was hitting them. Rakers with just 3 men standing, and suddenly they see that NAAZ is pushing towards them. They again traverse around those glue walls and they start to punish whoever is the weakest. I'm hoping to see, somebody use a Drake out there, but for the first time I see a Falco, which I've not seen in the recent past, as a kid with the Oscar, Joseph, Olivia, and Nikita has shocked me with the Falco.
Well, I guess one reason why they have been bringing in the Falco is because in that specific map, there's a lot of revives that has been happening, and they're capitalizing on that situation we're in. So imagine, your opponent even fight back. They're just dropping in there from their parachutes, and there's no really chance of you being denied. Thus, that Falco very useful with that highline spree. They can disable the enemy's auto aim as well, as they are trying to bring back their teammates. But look at this. I did mention about Dreki being brought in most of the sense with that Oscar, because at some point, when you are looking at an opponent who's trying to heal up, that's where you use the value in that. So it's still kid is using that, despite of me trying to explain it, but it's rarely being brought in.
If I have to play like somebody, I want to play like Shobit. Minimum damage, maximum effect. 800 damage for 3 eliminations, and I've done my job. I just hope to see some more of such performance coming out there. But again, Raker Kids is the MVP of this game. He's got 3,405 damage for 7 eliminations. His teammates have also been supportive, and for which they'll be rewarded with 27 points. But it's just that the spotlight is taken away from them, because RNX, they put a 30 bomber to climb up the ladder now, and no wonder they were one of the best teams to perform in the previous season's LAN finals.
Well, let's see, Rakers Esports, and this is what we, especially in RNX Esports, they did manage to get a lot of elimination. Last time we saw them, before that final circle, they already had 20, and they added 2 more than that. And in the 3rd place, it is Good Hoods right now, and they will be able to this kind of move for them to move up. And I guess with this, they tied up with the W squad on the 4th place, but easy enough.
Yeah, the circle analysis on our screens right now. We see that Nebula trying to traverse around in that location and making sure they pick up frags, and then after which they get to the center of the circle. Those were the little bit of, probably the best rotations we would have seen from that of Nebula. But I have to say that Rakers, They've been thinking straight. They've been thinking right. Their strategy is on point. They don't have to extend too much. They know that the whole lobby is filled with some really strong teams, so they intend towards being aggressive. All they have to do is avoid those fights, and ultimately in the final circle, with the firepower strong enough, they'll walk away with booyahs. And that's been good for them. But ladies and gentlemen, before the last game, this is where the storyline is starting to turn interesting. Could we see disappointments? Because OGxTSG 42 points at the 11th position. We have got Assassin Army with 44 at the 9th position, and both these teams will have to do a miracle to make sure they come into the top 6.
Now, what is at this point is NAAZ Esports, who did manage to move up on leaderboard and tied in on NKG Sports. So this is what we want to happen. A little bit of shuffle interboard, and I'm loving this. A hustle and bustle by these teams right now is just pristine. We still don't know who will be getting into the fourth, fifth, and sixth spot because of how well and how close between all this team. So I'm really looking forward to performance, better performance, good performance just previously for all throughout the games that we've seen in this day.
Absolutely right. This is what you expect from TEZ Free Fire Max India Cup 2026 fall. Previously as well, we saw some disappointments take place in the first half of the entire lobby, and with heading into the knockout stages, I can already see a glimpse of other disappointments. Sadly, it's one of the two favorite teams, fan favorite teams. One is OG and the other one is Assassin Army, and I hope to see both of them make a proper comeback out here. I know that they need more than a 30-pointer to make it forward, but if there's anybody who can pull it off, it's these two teams. Nonetheless, I'm going to place my bets on all the fan favorite teams who have already worked out with the pressure, who know the experience, who have bared this pressure before. But when I look at your side, you're inclining more towards the underdogs.
Well, it's more of 3 as well in overall. So I'm just playing it safe right now. I'm really looking for how the team's going to play because we don't know which map it is on game number 6. I don't know definitely on which map they are going to play. So why not get into the top 3 as we are just waiting on which map it would be, and it looks like it's the O map. So if we look at the game number 1 or whoever is leading, NKG, Rackers, as well as RNX is on my list.
My goodness, a default map where every team knows this map in and out, and now they all fight for that position to make it into the knockout stages. I would rather say all these teams at the bottom are trying to survive in this tournament, rather trying to qualify, and let's see whether they'll be able to do so. With few seconds away, do let us know which among these teams might not make it, because that's something interesting in the chat.
You're savage, bro. You're savage. You want to put in there who won't make it. You have half of the squad that we have right there who might not be able to make it. But let's see as looking into where the teams will be dropping from. And the flight path is coming from Mill into just the south of Rimnam Village. And a lot of teams are already dropping. Shoko, though, taking it in on the east side of Shipyard. But the rest of the squad is heading into Mill. So great position, I would say, out of this split up on a 3-1. Because Shoko was able to spot a few or find whoever will be dropping in the north part because of how close Shipyard, Bullseye, Graveyard, let's add in Observatory, will be launch pads available. Quick rotation can be done, and that's one reason why a lot of teams drop on that northern part.
Yeah, Nebula Esports on the other side. Look at how desperate they are because they know they need a lot of points, or at least a few, to make sure that they seal themselves into the top spot itself. But OGxTSG under pressure. These diamonds are starting to shine as they take down the team of ZUIPTS. Now, I'm interested to see whether they're going to continue this aggression, because sometimes in a map like this, you can't be over aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be aggressive, especially with what we've seen on Drop Spot earlier, because there's a lot in the northern part, and north of Catolistiwa to be exact, and that is where assassins are just pulled away from, and they caught a few of those opponents and those few eliminations. But for NAAZ Esports, I guess where they are dropping, Clock Tower is quite clear for the moment, other than OGxTSG, who have the high ground. But let's see, it's backstab with a mini Uzi. Really worth it, and taking the risk of being shot at. But a couple of players from OGxTSG's side, and Benz just got his back, making sure no one from that TSG squad will be stepping out. And even with M24, he's still in damage.
I wonder why NAAZ is interested in a fight like this. I know that they are in need of points, but again, if they continue to take this fight at Clock Tower, that could pique the interest of the opponents. Ayush, with that charge buster, is ready. He's trying to do his best. Gives that opening as Cider gets taken down. It's his teammates who run in closer for the revival, but ultimately the thief has already stolen the jewel as he runs away from this position. Agent and his teammates trying to run in closer, but I would say Ayush has already done the deed.
Yeah, Ayush definitely has done the deed already. Now, see if NAAZ will be able to get more after he got most in that engagement. They're elimination already at this point. All they have to do is just wait up for a little bit more. But for FX Elite, they are with the colors of NKG. Let's see if they can continue that on. The win squad, the W squad though, is on Hangar, trying to look for a few more of those opponents, but I don't think they will be able to spot anyone right here. Though there's a lot who did pop in, but it's already 3 minutes, and there's a lot of escape strategy that can be done at Splaya.
Rakers in a bit of a trouble for the first time. FX Elite, they picked up the pace, and is this the end of the Rakers in this game? It seems like they still have survivors who's going to revive them and bring them back right into the game. But FX Elite, they have to step away from this position because Assassin Army, they're interested, and they land some beautiful shots as they put down Piyush. Avjeet, has he made the mistake of staying back to revive his teammate? Because the rest of his squad are getting pummeled as the last man standing, Avjeet, tries to get into the vehicle and run away from this position. Shots behind him, but he escapes this fight for a brief period of time.
Oh, this is where the trouble begins, because I told you, those launch pads would be deadly, and Abjeet has been spotted already, Chester in hand. Sabo is trying to shoot him down. It's a good thing that he has a lot of containers that he can use, but here comes Ash, and Assassin's Army assassinated. FX Elite bringing them to 11th place.
The two squad we were speaking about who need to step up as T1 teams are slowly starting to feel the momentum in this game. They've got 7 eliminations, TSG have got 6, and both of them are looking more than promising. As of now, VASIYO Esports, they're starting to lose players, but luckily they've got enough far away. Heimu lands one against VASIYO, and everywhere in the map I just see 2 teams picking up fights. One is Assassin, the other one is OG.
See, I mean, OG definitely needs all those points now, because they do have 6 elimination at this point, but the placement, their position on the leaderboard is not good, especially with what happened on the earlier parts in Xterra, and hopefully they can pull away from that. Otherwise, they will be left out party for knockout stage. But for NAAZ, Shaitan ganged up by 3 players from NKG, and even as we look at it, are making sure that no one steps in with the bolt maker. And NAAZ Sports right now in trouble. Only 2 players remaining at this point, and Benz is on his way, not but he needs to get all those coins first. But NKG already underway, but the UAV might not help him get away. He has been spotted already being chased as we switch over to NEBULA as well as Team Elite, and this is a battle that we've seen this already, and hopefully Team Elite will be able to win this. But unfortunately, Cropsy has down. Pickup has been done quickly as possible, but heal UAV it's them to recover with the HP.
Team Elite is the only team which need points in this point of time. In this game, especially NEBULA, they're trying to do their best, but Team Elite, they've been clever in coming in from different directions. Look at that blue wall. It's going to restrict them to go in for the revive, but I don't think so. It's going to be easier. Scropsy lands one more. It's all come down to Piccolo. Can he do some revival? If he was here, the story would have been a little bit different, but sadly, he's fallen back to revive his teammates, and that allows NEBULA to not only pick up eliminations, but also to survive for a little longer.
Yeah, Piccolo was in Earth, and that moment he was in Namek. But Patlu was spotted by Piccolo with only a sliver of health. Not quite sure if he does have some meds on him. Trying to make way with, trying to get away with stealth bites as recover with those inhalers spotted. But glue walls being used, but Pride Tiger on point on that AWM, and NEBULA bringing the stars.
Oh, Tiger, a bit of a banter out there. As he says, it's all Joker moves, but for now, Rakers are in a bit of a trouble. OG, they set their eyes on the team which has been troubling them for so long. Look at the shots connect as Arjun puts another man down, and they push in already. With that incognito, Arjun might be the only player who's not going to be detected for now. But the rest of the squad, since they're recovering, OG needs to be careful as shots starting to connect against him. It's going to be Krish gets taken down. Kid, he's going to be punished for staying out in the open. And Rakers, for the first time, are feeling the heat.
Yeah, definitely. Heat is on them right now because OGxTSG, they are aggressive. They are really looking for that top 6 and slowly but surely making all those eliminations. Arjun once again to confirm that elimination. Those downs, 10 elimination already at this point. And is this enough? No. Is this enough for them to climb up? Judge from what they need, they need 18 more, 28 to be exact. And some of the squads are still racking up on those eliminations. On point placement aside, they might be able to get you more.
You know, for a strong footing, I think OG might need more than 35 points. And that's the only way that they can qualify through. Given the tangent that NKG shouldn't put up points, VASIYO Esports shouldn't put up points, RNX as well need to not put any more points on the table. Yes, Team Elite, they've done good for themselves. They've got 6 for now. And they had around 77 points or 71 points before this, making it 77. And probably they'll be at the edge of that 6th spot.
Yeah, and one thing I would say before we go there, let's take a little replay on W as well as NKG. And NKG, aggressive they are, and no regards of their teammate being knocked down. All they have to do is make sure that everything is cleared before they go pick up. But going back to my point about Team Elite out of this day is one aggressive, averaging 15.08 on the point. And this is what we love to see. Consistency has brought them with it, numbers and probably position into knockout. But for W squad right now, they are on the hunt, looking for pulls that might be taken down, and one of those would be Ash from Assassin's Army, and the hit list continues, and they will need to hunt RN's Shoko, who is in clear view, who is very near, but has crosshairs probably pointing at them.
NEBULA now pushing on OG. Have they been prepared for this fight? We'll have to wait and watch as Krish is trying to do his best. He's the first one to fall as Swaro puts him down. OG are slowly starting to feel that pressure, but the Thiva, the quick revive is going to give them a bit of a breathing space. Where is the sniper? From which corner is that cover fire coming from? I don't see anybody out there. As NEBULA, they've found a bit more of time, as more time is what they'll need to recover from this fight and get back. Ayush pushing in from above the glue wall. Does the shot connect? It seems like that's not the case as Krish yet again gets taken down. It's important, but Ayush and Krish, both of them down. It's going to be his teammates from a distance who's trying to pick up those frags. Has run it with the grenade launcher. Does everything possible to eliminate NEBULA.
Well, as the zone closes in, they are trying their best to survive after making all those efforts to get those elimination. But NKG, not slowing that all. They want to make sure that they will be moving in the next phase's circle and anticipating where it is. Look at the flurry of teams at the edge of Graveyard right now. With a few compounds that we have in here, they will need to move fast. And the NAAZ is potentially in that area where it is open. So I'm really curious on how the teams is going to make that rotation. Hopefully they are up in glue walls, because look at the Zap, only 5 glue walls. That is not enough for him as a sniper well if he wants to stay on the higher ground, on the rooftop. So this is where we'll need to be cautious and save up on the glue wall. And that's like saying that he just used. So we still have 5, but I think this is something that they should rethink.
You know, Neptune, I was just looking at the overall standing and the team surviving, right? I'm just going to read this out to you. NKG were at 7, VASIYO at 6, RNX at 5, W Squad at 4, and all of them are still alive with Assassinami and OG. If both these teams even have to think about qualification, they need to graze the farm. They need to get aggressive. They need to pounce on this team and pick them off. But OG, I think they're on a very good start, because they've taken down the strongest link out there. Assassinami out. That's another team for them to make sure they climb up the ladder.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's only a few points needed. Like from the beginning of the game, if that is what we're counting, there's only a few points needed for them to really move up. And I think it's getting closer and closer to that target. They have planned this all along. And with what OGTSG is doing, just waiting for the perfect opportunity to take shots, and a good combination as well of snipers on those marksmen together with an LMG makes them or make it sure that not even the Skylar is needed to break down those glue walls. Not even a Valiant Nash is needed to break down those glue walls. They can save up on some of their skill, just clear out the area with those cords, with those M60s. But speaking of clearing, well, are clearing the area where the W squad will be running in, and they have position right now as the next phase is about to close.
RNX 4 points, NAAZ with 5, and VASIYO with 2. All these teams are fighting for the 6th spot. This is what happens when you do not do the heavy lifting in the first 3 games. Under pressure, all these gems are trying to become diamonds as shots do not get connected. Bull! But the retaliation from Shoko, I do believe, from the other side was phenomenal as he gets taken down. Nonetheless, I see that OGs are starting to pick up some frags, but Rudra, now he'll have to decide whether he's going to heal up or he's going to revive his teammates.
The good thing they're very close to the next phase's circle. The pickup has been done, but a glue wall might not save them unless they have the heal UAV that Rude's been using. And probably a few more that they need for them to survive. But one knockdown from Shoko, especially with the damage from the blue. That's not a stat you want to be right now. And I think everyone, for those who are already in next to circle, will capitalize on that. But W Squad not really thinking where they were, what position they're taking, because they know exactly what needs to be done. Take down the wins and make sure they have a clear path towards the next phase.
OGxTSG, they take the wildest rotation possible, and ultimately, you know, no matter how much they tried, they couldn't pick up even one elimination, for which now they've been angered as they push in against NKG, who was so busy against another team altogether. We'll have to wait and watch how many eliminations they'll be able to pick up. Krish gives that opening against Halim, and now they push in a grenade launcher in the hands of Ron. It could be a little bit deadly, but I don't see him use it in this game for now, as NKG cleverly get away from this compound into the open field. This could be a fight to the finish.
Well, let's see though, as we are looking at a booyah, potential booyah coming from OGTSG to OG2SG, but there's still a few contenders right here. NAAZ will find out if they can recover at this point. It's very close, only a few compounds remaining, but the shift will be favoring them. The shift will be favoring NKG, and this is one thing that we didn't anticipate. Even a lot of teams is like making sure that they have a little bit of cover, especially with that bolt maker being used right now.
Narikotam, how much can they make of this circle as SRNX are putting down VASIYO almost to the verge of extinction? As NAAZ gets eliminated, all the teams who need to qualify are now fighting hard to make sure that they do. As OGxTSG, they've still got all four men standing and they're prioritizing the circle. Look at their quick moves because they're just walking in the footsteps they just took moments ago. As RNX trying to get in closer, Hassan is trying to take those shots. It's Armand rather who comes in closer, and hopefully we'll be able to see RNX not convert this into a booyah.
We'll have to find out though, because so far zone is closing in. They don't have that much of opening. Potential back might happen, but they are taking it cautious. See if NKG will be able to go for the takedown. The rooftop move. This might be it. Be the bane of the extinction. And this is what we didn't expect. OGT right now in trouble. The zone is closing in and only 2 players remain. And not looking good for both Ayush and Arjun on the corner of this very small compound. No chance to breathe, and everyone else is surrounding them.
The man disadvantage could weigh very heavy on them. As NKG, a clever move of getting on top of that building, did so much for them. Ayush gets taken down and the whole squad of OG gets taken down as well. And this is the time where RNX can actually shine, as Money is the last man standing in RNX. What a time to pull off a booyah as they cement themselves in the top 6. They also write fate for all the teams out there. Which amongst them have led to disappointments? It's for us to know in moments to come. But I am starting to feel the heat. I'm scared because I know this time around all the teams not qualifying will end up being the biggest ever disappointments of this tournament.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's just a lot of teams on that final circle that could have made it. And it's difficult to tell if they did make it right here. Because if that worked so much just like this in the early parts of the day, in the first half of this day, there's no worry. But well, a few teams are looking for that hero's journey, that great comeback, but RNX Esports not really eyeing that. They want consistent. They've shown it with a lot of elimination from the previous round and continue on this game. Look at that position, a flurry of goals and no place to breathe for most of the teams.
You know, I don't understand why OG took that rotation from behind the building when they had the complete compound for themselves. Probably that's the only decision they're going to regret at this point of time. Nonetheless, if there's any other thing they need to regret on is why they did not perform like this from the get-go, which you already pointed out. Assassin's Army, even they tried to do their best. But for now, let's speak about the squad, which actually showed us what composure is all about, what sticking onto a strong mindset is all about. It's got to be Shoko, who's got 7 eliminations as the MVP for his team. 4,971 damage with 4 assists.
Yeah, with that stealth bites Camors, he definitely gets great position. So many instances we're looking at being one of the players who are taking a compound, and Shoko was just sneaky enough to be able to make all shots through the window. But let's take a look at the rest of the squad now on what they brought into the table. With Valiant Nash, we do have the Time Turner, and this 3 skills together with Moors has been the commonality in boosters, but Hassan has brought a game changer. Steffi is mostly known as a skill that really deflects all throwables, but what we don't know is the armor they're getting as well once that Pain and Refuge is used, and that's one reason why they managed to survive within that golden circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said that better, but look at the damage. It's Hadib and Shoko were doing the deed, but Hassan on the backlines being as clinical as possible, as with 5 eliminations, 2,932 damage, yet again proves why he's one of the best players of this squad. But the game standing, this is where the numbers get scrunched. 31 points for RNX and OGxTSG have got 23, and is that enough? My goodness, I'm just waiting for the overall standing to come up to see how far did they reach.
Yeah, I'm loving this kind of move from RNX. They didn't do so well in the first few maps, or first map to be exact. Only 6 points in the first. Now they are redeeming themselves, and they even lost out in Purgatory with the elimination, with only 3 placement points. So great recovery coming from RNX Esports right now, back to back. 30 plus on the points. iQOO OGxTSG, a squad that we have a lot of hopes on, but only 5 elimination from Bermuda, 4 in Solara, 4 on Kalahari. Out of 6 maps, 3 they failed to get to the double digits. And even if they made 20 points right here, it's very difficult to tell if they'll be able to make it 6.
I don't know, man. I'm already starting to feel the pressure. Assassin's Army, OGxTSG, those fan favorite teams. And let me remind you, these are the teams who did play the last year's championship finals. Finals. And if they don't make it, I don't know who can. But for now, for all the teams who showed us some really good composure from the beginning, are the teams who are going to be rewarded with that golden ticket. Yes, the circle analysis on the screen, but still my mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, again, RNX is one of the who split up. They drop into Mill. One of the players did drop in on that small island on the northern part of Shipyard. They rotated from Mill to Keraton into Peak because they have one revive that happened on that was made, and then the drop spot was on Peak. Now they slowly move into Graveyard, and this was definitely a graveyard by a lot of teams. Look at that circle, 6-8 elimination out next, and that's because they have prime position. They have the edge as well as great elevation out of rooftop, single compound that we have within that area, and that is just something that you don't see so much. And I am really eyeing that most can be seen out of the squad. And for today's standing, there you have it. The 6 who will, or the last 6 who will be qualifying a knockout stage would be NEBULA Esports, Riker, RNX Esports, the W Squad, VASIYO Esports, and Team Elite. And in the second half, we'll have to say goodbye.
For the first time, I see a tiebreaker coming into play where NKG and Team Elite, both of them have a booyah, but it's the number of eliminations which gets counted, and that's where Team Elite have performed so well. NAAZ on the other side, 70. If OG had walked away with that booyah, probably the story would have been different. They would have had so much more eliminations as well as placement points. But ladies and gentlemen, the teams to qualify into the next round and also the stage from where they're going to fight out in different groups. It's going to be NEBULA, Rakers, RNX, W Squad, VASIYO, as well as Team Elite.
I'm really happy that some of the teams that were expected to be in the top 6 just forced themselves in this situation. There's a few teams who were really not performing that well in the first part. One team that really performed today is NEBULA Esports, and this is what I was eyeing for, even in half of the competition. Though their top 3 has been reduced from 100% now 50%, but how close was from them? They were fourth on Kalahari as well as Dexterra. Role, and the only place that they failed to get a top 5 was in Bermuda.
But the leader, elimination leaders for now is going to be Tiger from that of NEBULA, 23 eliminations. Hassan stepping up for his team, 23 eliminations. Spark from NEBULA. No wonder both these players were in unison, and that's one of the reasons why they've got 66 elimination in total for NEBULA Esports, as 25 comes from just these 2 lads. I would say 45 comes from these 2 lads, yes. And W Squad, both of the players, Rudra and Buri, even they were very good throughout the day, as they get 21 eliminations each. And that means W Squad, they'll have to tank these 2 lads for those many eliminations.
Yeah, definitely elimination is something that we need at this point. Something that we expect out of the squad. But look at those all 20s individually. And if you have this kind of players, a couple of players from your squad who can bring this kind of numbers, especially for Nebula as well as NAAZ, you will be happy that you are part of this. But right now, we are just really looking forward to how they are going to evolve, because it's only a few days from last week, from week 1. But now we are going to see 3 sets, 3 of teams. And let's introduce Group A: BFA, Team Elite, and Tired Pros, Rikers Esports, and Resurrection as our first group in the knockout stage.
Oh, these groups will fight out with each other. And let me remind you that the knockout stages, the format itself is very interesting. You'll have to come in the top 2 in the first few weeks and then fight out for the last 6 spots in the final week. Well, yes, this is Group A team, which is on our screens right now. BFA as well as NG Pros. We did see them do really well in the previous weeks, but for today we saw Team Elite fighting their way, making it through. Resurrection as well have been phenomenal when it comes to their firepower. If there's anybody else who can challenge Resurrection, probably that's Rakers, who have done so well today with a total of 57 eliminations and crossing the 100 marker.
And that's one thing though. His game, Resurrection was just getting booyahs after booyahs, as well as those elimination. And this is something that would be deadly on knockout stage, especially with the number of days that they have to fight, and also plenty of teams that can be studied because they have 2 weeks already. So if you can do the homework and spot out any flaws, any mistake out of events, you can capitalize on what you've done so far in the group stage. But B, we're going to introduce Team Apex Gaming, Insane Power, RNX Esports, SAQL Blitza Esports, and Cruel Esports as our second group in the knockout stage.
Oh, this is nice. This is nice because we know what's going to happen in Group C. The big names are going to be out there together. But yes, this group has also got some heavy hitters because Insane Power, Team Apex Gaming, and SAQL, they have their own kind of a fan following for now. Yeah, if I exclude Insane Power from that list, I can surely include RNX. The phenomenal performance, the composure they've shown in this game, especially with Killer adding on and giving so much of experience for the squad. Everything is going right for this team as well. Apex, SAQL, and RNX are going to be the favorites in this group.
Well, looking forward to how they are going to continue on, especially for RNX that I personally saw and shoutcasted in the game. And they have been leaning towards heavy elimination and scoring so much in this season, and they have built their competitive total even further with comparing it into booyahs. But let's introduce the next group. The knockout stage, we have Godlike Esports, iQOO Total Gaming, VASIYO Esports, the W Squad, Nebula Esports, and Riven X Spark. And just judging from this group, this might be the group that we can consider as a group of death.
Absolutely, because we have got Godlike, Total Gaming, Nebula, and Riven X Spark. 4 of those squads who have already played the LAN and looking forward to play one more, as VASIYO is also going to be included in that list. W Squad probably might be the only, underdog team out there who's doing so well so far. 3 groups, ladies and gentlemen, shown to you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the upcoming weeks to see all of them clash it out, because amongst these teams, only 12 will make it into the LAN finals. And also, all these teams will also have a chunk of that prize pool because 18 teams have already been selected and they're not going to go away empty-handed. At least 77,500 rupees.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really happy to see these teams already moving. And you did mention about the prize pool. That would be great, a game changer prize pool teams, especially for those who are moving up the leaderboard. But the journey is still long. So, as what we were talking about, the background, the grueling journey of the teams will continue from the play-ins to the first week of the group stages, or 2 weeks of the group stages, and now the knockout. And they are reducing the numbers of the teams. And it has been a pleasure shoutcasting once again Arca in this last day of the group stage.
Yeah, absolutely. The pleasure is mine as well, because I've been learning a lot from you lately, and for the thick and thin of things, we have seen the best of the Free Fire Max action we can expect from that of India, especially in this group. It's not this close anywhere else. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to say goodbye for you guys. Make sure that you tune in to the knockout stages. Till then, myself, Arka and Neptune, this is TEZ Free Fire Max India Cup 2026 fall.
One easy.